hello, what's up this morning, everyone? Welcome. Fine Tuesday to ya all. Good to see ya. What is up, Autism, Aesthetic, Silty Smacker, Lucid, the Red Selfie, Raven Boy? How is everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone is having a spectacular week. What's up, Mesmal? Stone Rain, good to see you, Stone Rain. Hopefully everything's going well. Outrageous Tyrannosaurus, good to see you. Yeah, I'm really excited for Vegas. Vegas is always super fun. That's the one I always make it to every year. It would be cool to play at SCG event sometime. I've never really tried to be a competitive paper player, but it would be interesting. It would be fun. I don't know, if one comes close, maybe I'll get a standard deck and go play it. The big problem is I just don't have I don't really usually have a paper standard deck. Oh, good to see you, Lucid. Yeah, I'm excited to try this deck too. So I got a few decks for today. I've been digging around trying to find some standard spice, and this deck caught my eye because I mean, Quintorius is a cool card. The idea of this deck's kind of funny to me. We're trying to discover into Sage of the Skies, which I guess is pretty good deck building, right? Because Sage of the Skies wants you to have cast another spell, and then you get a copy of it. If you get two 3 flying lifelinkers for 3 mana, that's kind of good. But if we like Quintorius, we discover, we hit Geological Appraiser, that discovers into Sage of the Skies, and all of a sudden we got this big janky board. So we're going to start with some Quintorius action today, some Elephant action. But the other decks I found, I kind of want to try this Amalia Race the Past deck at some point. It's kind of like life gain combo, surveil stuff into your graveyard, reanimate it all, win with Starscape Cleric. So that's on the backup list. I also thought this deck looked kind of funny. It's basically mono red dragons, splashing blue just for Sarkhan Soul of Flame of all things. But essentially, play Sarkhans, play big dragons like Twin Flame Tyrant. If you ever Sarkhan into Twin Flame Tyrant, it's kind of absurd. You double the damage, you could triple the damage, quadruple the damage, just win the game on the spot. So that deck looked kind of neat. So we're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna play some Spice in Standard and see what happens. This deck, I faced it twice at this. Wait, really? You faced the Discover deck? I didn't know anyone played this deck. Hey Seth, I upgraded the old Against the Odds deck. Still better. It's better, but still kind of bad. sounds like an Against the Odds deck. What is our Minion of the Memes. We're gonna have this kind of back in Standard with Tifa, I think. It's not quite as fast, because Minion of the Memes, if you get the right draw, you can win on turn 2, which is hilarious. The deck is so inconsistent, but it's so funny when it goes off. That does look sweet. We got some good dragon upgrades. Urani seems kind of like a bomb. Yeah, I like the upgrade. Maybe we'll have to revisit it at some point. I find my 2 Animrex Artist Proofs at least 150 each. Ooh, nice. That sounds sweet. Anyway, let's do our reminders and start playing some Magic. Then we can talk Final Fantasy. Okay, actually, no. I gotta ask you one question, and then we'll do our reminders and play Magic. But I have been waiting, chat. I have been waiting all week for this stream, so I could ask you about one card. Because I know some of you play Final Fantasy, and I need you to explain this to me. Instant ramen, chat, why, what, how, why? So I don't know Final Fantasy. I played an hour and a half of Final Fantasy VI on Super Nintendo for a Patreon video. That is all of my experience with Final Fantasy. I know some of you played Final Fantasy. What is this card in Final Fantasy? Oh, it's a side quest in Final Fantasy. Was it just an ad? I heard some people say that it was actually like branded and it was like an ad in the game for like a specific brand of noodles. Is that true? Was it actually? That's so funny to me that like, if that actually is true, so we make a Magic set, which is partly to advertise Final Fantasy. And one of the cards is advertising a card that was an advertisement in Final Fantasy to sell cup of noodles. Okay, I gotta ask you, because this got me thinking about this. So I'm glad it's not branded. If it was actually like a specific brand of noodles, it would be way worse to me. Do you think they're gonna end up doing that? Because I feel like on the path we're down, that seems like the next obvious step, that like I mean, wouldn't a company give them money, piles of money, if instead of instant ramen, it was, cup of noodles or Yum Good instant ramen? Instead of, I don't know, a drink, it's a can of Coke. Like, remember when we started Universes Beyond and everyone would meme on, like, I attack with a can of Mountain Dew? I feel like we're so close. I feel like we're so close to that actually being a thing. Yes, if the vehicles are a Ford F-150 instead of... I feel like Wizards and Hasbro likes money enough and their toy business is struggling enough that we could actually see that. Like, I could imagine Ether Drift where all the vehicles were actually like, here's a Honda Civic, here's a Ford F-150. How bad would that be? How bad? For some reason that... I don't know. I hate big corporations. I hate that stuff anyway. It drives me crazy. I just hate it. I hate it. I feel like for me that would be a big turnoff if they actually started branding it. The cup of noodles, like or whatever, instant ramen. I mean, to me, it's kind of cringy in the same way that the Doctor Who, some of that stuff I found kind of cringy. Just like, here's a British guy eating a sandwich. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, like whatever. If they actually start branding it though, oh man, oh that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt so much. Oh, my Honda Civic was the best car I ever owned. I drove that car everywhere. I did no main. I don't even think I changed the oil in that car, and that thing lasted forever. Oh man, I love Hondas. that was the greatest car. All spray painted. I don't know how many of you know the band Cursive. Okay, this is a long time ago. I really like the band Cursive, and also all the other like Saddleback bands. This is like early 2000s indie music, but Cursive. They had this song called The Ugly Organ, and it had this cool album cover of a keyboard. So I painted my car with the album cover and drove it across the country. And that was my Honda Civic. Good days. Anyway, let's do our reminders. I actually just got a Honda CRV and I'm very happy with that. I needed a bigger car because Bear does not like little cars and he likes to go with me everywhere. So I had to get a bigger car. So I got a CRV and I've been liking it so far. Reminders. Yeah, painting your car is an underrated pastime. Definitely at one point, this was the best. So after I already started painting the car, I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll just let people paint on the car. That'd be kind of cool, right? And be like, yeah, paint on my car. So at one point it ended up painted as a taxi. Someone painted taxi on it. And this is a Honda Civic that was like spray painted. They spray painted taxi and put my phone number on it to see if people would actually call. This was before Uber or Lyft or anything. To see if people would call. And then at one point a cop was like, you can't, technically you're an unlicensed taxi if you drive around like this. So if you don't change that, I'm going to give you a ticket. Like, all right, I guess I can't be a taxi. I guess it doesn't work this way. You can't just spray paint your phone number on the side of the car with taxi and get a gig out of it. Reminders, replay YouTube. As we invite all those streams, including this one in the future, normal YouTube, Final Fantasy spoilers, some really fun decks coming out, some cool stuff coming out on there. A reminder that our sponsor is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Even get a goldfish sticker, I think. Let them know in your order notes and they'll hook you up. I like driving. I don't mind driving. One of my favorite jobs, actually, back before I started doing, before I went to college and started doing content and stuff, but I actually really liked delivering pizza. That was, out of all the crappy jobs I worked, and I worked plenty. I worked at a dry cleaners, I worked at a church, I worked at an animal feed mill where they made cow food. Delivering pizza though, as far as whatever, the bad job, starter jobs, I don't know what you want to call that, but as far as just average jobs go, delivering pizza is actually kind of a banger job. At least I thought it was. I enjoyed it. As long as people tip you. If people don't tip, that's the worst part of it. But hey, Seth, I hope you're doing great. I went to gold in Arena with your budget deck. Hey, the mono green deck is actually, I think mono green might be ready to make a comeback. I think it might actually be time. Hey, Seth, I've been watching a lot of pre-modern content. Oh yeah, I grew up in a super Christian family. So right after high school time, before I went to college, at one point I worked at a church. Oh, that was a long time ago. Oh man, there's oh, the stories. The stories. Oh my goodness. I probably should not even get into some of those stories. Well, maybe I'll think about it. I drive for my job and I love how fast my day goes by. I know you put on a podcast. You cruise around, you got no one bothering you. Maybe sneak a chicken wing every once in a while, because who actually counts to make sure there's 12? Actually, I didn't actually sneak chicken wings. Yoda Man, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. So what is the idea of this deck? So we're going to start out with some Quintorius Boros Discover. And the idea of this deck, you can see how the curve is kind of built super high. That's because we're trying to control what we discover into. So we have Ryzen, Stormbrood for removal. We have some random dragons for like card filtering. This makes a token. Virtual Loyalty, obviously, token buffs the team. Autonomous Assembler. I forgot this card was even in standard, but I guess it's a card that we can play in the cheap, technically 5 mana. But we're doing all this, playing all these 5 drops, all these 6 drops, because we want to be able to do the super powerful maybe discover thing, which is if we play like a Quintorius Con, we can discover 4. That's going to hit one of these cards. If we hit Geological Expraiser, then we get to discover 3 and we'll hit one of these cards. If we hit a Tally's Favor, we discover 3, we'll hit this card. Eventually, the end of this loop is going to end with us hitting Sage of the Skies. This is our payoff. This is the payoff. We discover our way into Sage of the Skies. Sage of the Skies says, I'm a 2/3 with Flying and Lifelink, but if you've cast another spell before me, you get a copy of it. So we're hoping to discover our way into 2/3 Flying Lifelinkers and see if those can win us the game. Are they actually going to win us the game? We're going to find out, but that's the plan. We're discovering our way into Sage of the Skies, and that's basically it. Sideboard, pretty typical. Imodane's Recruiter. I guess I'm not actually sure why we're playing Imodane's Recruiter on the sideboard. I didn't build that part of the deck. I didn't build any of this deck, actually. We'll leave Leech for discard, Recipes for Graveyards, Biza for aggro, a little bit more removal, Chimmel in case we run into a counterspell deck. So let's do some discovery. Let's play Smellifids and see what happens. Played against a crazy black-white brew that like to bounce with Nightmares. They use Temporary Lockdown to suck them all up and bounce Lockdown. Yeah, okay, so I imagine you played against... I think you played against the Orzhov self-bounce deck with the trick of Orzhov self-bounce. So in standard right now, Prowess is the best thing going. And the best answer to Prowess is Temporary Lockdown. The upside of Orzhov Pixie or Orzhov Self-Bounce is, I believe it's the only deck in Standard, at least the only one that I know of, that actually can use Temporary Lockdown offensively. Usually you play this as like a sweeper for cheap stuff out of a control deck or whatever, but this deck, you can use it to do exactly what you're saying, which is you suck up your own creatures, and then you bounce the Lockdown, get all your stuff back, get a bunch more Hopeless Nightmare triggers, Momentum Maker triggers, nowhere to run for more removal. And then you just do that again and again and eventually grind your refine it out. So it is a pretty sweet plan. Very good against Prowess. At least that's the calling card of this deck, because it's supposed to be the anti-Prowess deck. Whether or not it actually works, we'll see. What's your hype out of 10 for Final Fantasy after a couple of weeks, Seth? I really like this set. And maybe I should have been expecting this. I will say, the more of this set I see, we have a new card. We have a new Chocobo. A new Chocobo. I think that's a Chocobo. So I will say, I was hoping that there would be more stuff focused on Standard. I feel like, and this probably shouldn't be a surprise, because it's 2025, and Commander is the king, and every set's very Commander focused. I was kind of hoping it was going to be a little more Standard focused. Not that there's not some good Standard cards, but when I just browse through the set, there's a lot of cards that I'm like, I think Buster Sword is a good example of that. Buster Sword, to me, probably one of the most iconic weapons in Final Fantasy. When I was hearing about Buster Sword, I was thinking, okay, they're going to make this some like push for Standard equipment. And Buster Sword's good. It's just, to me, seems kind of like Commander good, not constructed 60 card Standard good. So I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more tilted towards Standard and a little less towards Commander. But I think the set's good. I will also say, and I'm curious what you all think of this, I feel like I would rank it behind Lord of the Rings. I think right now, Lord of the Rings is, and this is going to outsell Lord of the Rings, no doubt about that. It's already probably outsold Lord of the Rings, so it's going to be more successful than Lord of the Rings. But I would say just like card for card, I think I like Lord of the Rings more than I like Final Fantasy. I will say that Final Fantasy fits in Magic better than I would have guessed. Like, I feel like flavor-wise, outside of like the instant ramen and some of the stuff like that I think is a little cringy, but really, it fits pretty well in Magic, I would say. And I think maybe part of the reason why I would rank it behind Lord of the Rings, maybe it's partly because Final Fantasy has to go through Standard. Lord of the Rings didn't have to go through Standard, so it could be really pushed, and that's how we ended up with some cards that maybe we shouldn't have, like the One Ring and Orcish Bowmasters. But I think it's hard to compare the power level of a Standard set to a Commander set or a Modern set. Also, okay, we're gonna play Magic. I promise we're gonna play Magic. There's way too many cards. I mean, yeah, that's every set these days. How do you feel about the Puff Puff UFs? Oh, I feel like it actually see play is instant speed ramp, really good as a 4-mana 0/2 blocker. I mean, maybe. So the problem I would have with this card, as far as Standard play right now, is just these are the kind of cards I would want to be good. I would like this card to be good. The idea that I could play this 0/4 blocker and suck up some damage, that sounds very appealing. That's how Magic should be played. However, in our current meta that's driven by Monstrous Rage and these prowess threats, a 0/4 is just, the blocking plan just isn't very good in this Standard. So that makes me a little bit skeptical. I feel like it's a very cool design that could see play in the future once the meta shifts, once Monstrous Rage, something happens to that. Like, once you can block again, this card's actually kind of appealing. I think the ability of putting land in here into play is nice, and it is a town payoff. We haven't really seen a big payoff for towns. This might actually be the best town payoff, to just play a bunch of towns. I was hoping to get some town payoffs, so I like it. I'm not sure it lines up super well with our current meta, though. DJ Elephant. Hey, perfect timing. We're about to play some Elephant Planeswalkers. Welcome to the Fishbowl. First time sub. Thank you to your for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. All right, let's look at this one card and then we're gonna play. I promise. We got to see what this Chocobo does. What does this Chocobo do? Ambrosia Whiteheart. 2 mana. For a legendary bird, it has Flash. When it enters, you can return another permanent you control to its owner's hand, and when a land enters, it gets +1. Hey, that's actually not. Oh no. Oh, it's another self-bounce card. It is literally legendary Sun Petal Carrot, except actually no, it's worse because it doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. Okay, so I guess actually this is fine. It's probably worse than Pixie and worse than Sun Petal Carrot. So maybe there's just not room for it, or maybe it played as a one-of. The landfall is like kind of nice. I don't know. We've seen cards like this see a lot of play, and this one probably sees some fringe play. I mean, Sun Petal Carrot also has Flash, though. It has Flash and flying, right? Wait, is it Sun Petal? It can't be Sun Petal. What is the name of that card? What is the... I thought it was Sun... Is it not Sun Petal? The question is how many... Sun Pearl. The question is how many self-bounce creatures can you play? Because you need the mix, right? You need the mixture of self-bounce creatures and things to bounce. If we look at like the Orzhov self-bounce deck, I would say Cutzel's Flanker, Lauren, Biza Shieldred are kind of flex slots. Also the removal, like you have the bounce removal, so some of that comes and goes. There might be room. I think like a copy or two. A copy or two probably shows up. It is legendary, so it's probably not a 4-of. But I could definitely, it fits very well into what Self-Bounce wants to do. So I could see like 1 or 2 is like additional copies of Pixie and in Sun Petal Carrot. And it helps you get around the legend rule. Yeah, the 3-color builds, it gets harder, yeah. If you're playing Abzan or Esper, then there's probably not enough room. All right. Also, I don't know if you saw the hero of the weekend. So it was regional championship, 40% of day 2, 41% of day 2 ended up being the prowess deck. The prowess deck it is literally everywhere. It's everywhere, but there was one hero. There was one hero, which is the Grim Captain. Unfortunately, it started off 4-0 and then ended up, I think, 5-4 and missed day 2. So it got a little worse. But the Grim Captain I saw on camera in real life Is it prowess? Lose to throw to the Grim Captain in this hilariously janky pile. Terry and Maulers, 3 tree mascots, Brineborn Cutthroats. It actually did it. It actually beat the prowess deck, which best part of the weekend watching Magic coverage. So that deck's going to be coming up on the YouTube soon. It's coming soon because so we're not going to play it today, but I promise you, keep an eye on the YouTube. We're going to do some Grim Captaining. It's happening. Yeah, Mice is back. Mice is back. Mice actually might be able to beat prowess now. The current builds with Mage Main Lizard, I think, improve it enough against prowess that we're actually going to see Mice on the comeback, which, honestly, if I had to choose, I would rather lose to prowess than to Mice. Mice are just so fast. Prowess is very, very strong because it has this just like, it can be fast, and it also has this great late game because of Cutter and because of stock ups. Mono Red is actually, I find, more brutal to play against just because it's so quick. All it is like the fastest deck. It can't go long like prowess can, but as far as speed, nothing matches Mice's speed. So yeah, it's even more brutal to lose to Mice, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Halfling, that the prowess decks slowed down to fight the rest of the meta, and that made them slow enough for the red decks, at least this weekend, with main deck main Mage Lizard, to sneak in underneath them and pick up the win. Also, we saw a control deck do well. Hey, Seth, I sent you an email about the Downey Aristocrats deck. Oh, yeah, that deck, I'm pretty sure I emailed you back on that one, right? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, that deck looked, maybe, yeah. I see it there. Yeah, the deck does definitely look sweet. That could be a fun one to try at some point. Well, let's do some Quintorius. Here's the Downey Aristocrats. It kind of reminds me, like, so the backup deck, one of the backup decks that I had for today, didn't actually have Downey in it, but it was a Starscape Cleric deck, but it was more of a try to surveil and then raise the pass everything to combo kill with Starscape Cleric. But the idea definitely sweet. Well, let's play us a Battlefield Forge. Go. I feel like I have a pretty consistent win percentage against both Mice and Prowess with your 5-color Jeskai Revelation deck, probably my favorite deck in Standard right now. So much fun. I love it when you make a control deck. That deck is super fun. I also really like that deck. I still don't know, like, how strong, like, is it, how much success have you been having with it? I'm actually curious how much success you've been having, because I'm not sure, like, how strong it is, but it's just so fun to play. Well, let's Virtual Loyalty. Make a 2/2. Opponent gonna anoint with it. Opponent's Saltine. Interesting. Well, let's play a mountain and yeah, let's actually just discard a Mirrex. Actually, I guess we can keep the Mirrex. Discard a Plains. Draw a couple. Ooh, more lands. Okay, that's a lot of lands. That's a lot of lands. Ooh, even more lands. Well, Elegant Parlor. Keep the Virtue. All right, let's play another 2/2. Autonomous Assembler. Bringing mice to deal with Is It Prowess is like the episode of The Simpsons where they bring in the gorillas to deal with the snakes, to deal with the lizards. Yeah, it is. It does kind of feel like that. That's one of my... opponent. Gonna love that. That's one of my favorite Simpsons metaphors for Magic. The other one is the Mr. Burns when he goes to the doctors and he has like every disease, but they're all like traffic jammed in the doorway and they can't get into him because there's so many of them. Sometimes Magic also feels a little bit like that. Well, let's play the Plains. Oh, we just have to Contorius. I feel like they have a counter. I don't know why I feel like they have a counter, but what else are we gonna do? I guess we can play a Virtual Loyalty. You know what? If they got a counter, they got a counter. Quintorius. Okay, Quintorius. Let's have some fun. Discover 4. Spin it to win it. Into Geological Appraiser. Very good. Burn you for 2. Spin it to win it. Into... There it is. Sage of the Skies. ×2. An opponent. Can you beat our mighty 2-3? Your go, opponent. Can you stop the elephant? Well, I guess the answer is yes. Bitter triumph. I'm victorious. I mean, what is your all's feeling about Final Fantasy? Oh my god. What is your all's feeling about Final Fantasy? And now they're gonna exile Quintorius. Oh, what a blowout. So opponent's Sultai control. Oh, this is not going exactly well. Losing all of our Quintoriuses is pretty bad. Well, let's play the 5/5. Play the monastery. Pass the turn. Starting down's going to be very, very relevant in standard. Oh my goodness, okay. This is what we're doing. In a bitter triumph, going to gain some life. Sure. I mean, our opponent is currently down to 1 card in hand, which is good. Let's do it this way. Let's flush out. Discard the Verge. Draw a couple cards. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's play the Myrics. Play the Assembler. Pass the turn. How many cards are left for Final Fantasy to be spoiled? This is one of the weirdest spoiler seasons that we've ever had. Okay. Sure. Yeah. That's not great. Virtual Loyalty. And Sage of the Skies ×2. And, well, let's see if Virtue of Loyalty can save us. Pump them. If they find another deadly cover-up. Okay, Ancient Cornucopia, sure. Are we going to win a game with Sage of the Skies? We might actually win a game with Sage of the Skies. The beginning of combat on your turn, another creature gets plus. This is such a limited card. All right, let's play the Elegant Parlor. Surveil away the mountain. Go to combat. Hit ya. Wow, opponent's gonna take the beats. Okay. Might as well pump it. It's a lot of damage. Opponent down to 2. Well, we're gonna pass the turn. Untap the dorks. I can't imagine the public response to Dark Confidant was what Wizards expected when they put it in the set. People laughing at the card for being bad in standard. How the mighty have fallen. Seriously. I remember Bob. Like, yeah, so spoilers, I got distracted. Spoilers go to the 30th. So the weird part of this spoiler season is they've almost already spoiled every mythic, and they've spoiled a bunch of rares. So, did they actually draw the Wrath? No way. No. I think even if they do, they still die to Myrics, right? Even if they have the Wrath. We go up to 34. Oh, it's just a land. Easy mode. Opponent surveils, and gonna die. They exiled our elephant, but it wasn't enough. Oh, assembly worker. Yeah, I have not seen an assembly worker tribal deck. I mean, I guess you could make one. You could. We haven't seen the other crystals yet. I think, what is the actual number? So I believe there are 20 mythics in the main set. I feel like we have almost all of them. Because if we go, let's see, where's our mythics? 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. So we should have 3 mythics left for this week and next week. And then there are still a chunk of rares, including the rest of the crystals, which are kind of exciting. Yeah, I don't know what they were expecting for Bob, honestly. I remember Bob being like $100 card, one of the best cards in Magic. Like, when you think of peak modern Jund or whatever, Bob was so good. I don't think Bob is like even playable today. They need to give us Tarmogoyf. If they give us Tarmogoyf in standard, then we can actually build modern Jund in standard. The 2025 edition. What do we do to fight against this deck? Chimmel seems fine. Ugh. I mean, I guess Rest in Peace maybe? Even that kind of feels like a stretch. Biza, no. Maybe Imidane's Recruiter. Do we want Recruiter? So Imidane's Recruiter we can bring in to cascade into instead of the Sage of the Skies. It is good against Wraths. You know what? We're just going to run it back. Whatever. Yeah, life gain could be a possibility. I saw Bob. Someone played Bob and Commander took 20 damage during the game. The classic Bob Emrakul. I'm pretty sure there was actually deck that played Emrakul and Bob. At least I've seen that happen in cube drafts where someone flips the Emrakul. It's the best. It's so good. Oh, we do have Tarmogoyf at home, although it's gonna rotate. Actual literal Tarmogoyf would be fine in standard. It actually would be. Ooh, Artist Proof Bob. The original? The invitational version? I like the art of this Bob. It still rubs me wrong when they reprint invitational cards, but I guess that ship has kind of sailed. But I still feel like, I don't know. Like, when it's a reward card, I guess we're going to run into this at some point with the World Championship cards, too. Like Fervent Champion and Elite Spellbinder that have an actual person on them. It does feel a little bad that you get a reward of having your face on a card, an iconic card, and then you disappear, but I don't know. I guess there's nothing you can actually do about it. It would be cool if, like, every time they reprinted it, they kept at least one version that had, like, the person on it, but that's probably asking too much. Yeah, maybe that's upside. Now we have Bob. Bob is canon, Final Fantasy. How does canon work for other games that get a Universes Beyond? Does the Magic cards count as canon to Final Fantasy or Doctor Who or whatever? I'm still upset with myself for selling my one-store championship stamp, Bob. Oh, yeah. You actually won the store championship? Yeah, that would be a fun one just to hold on to for memories. I was thinking about your comments here. I was thinking about your comments. How there's 250 legends in every set, making Legendary Matters better and better as the years go by. I really wish that Price of Fame was printed in Foundations. Ooh, Price of Fame would be a good one. That would be a good one. Maybe more ways of punishing legends is the way to go. But that is a nice one. Get the Surveil, get a little discount if you target a legend. Well, Elegant Poller. This hand seems pretty good, as long as we get our land drops. Furion works better with Buster Sword than Cloud does. Yeah, Furion I think is actually a really cool card. I really like the idea of Furion. Well, let's do a little autonomous assembling. So, when Price of Fame was in Standard before, it did see play, but it was typically like one of play. It wasn't really. Oh, do we just cast? Yeah, all right. I guess we cast one. We have two of them in hand. I guess we got to do something this turn. The sad Sage of the Skies. So Price of Fame when it was in Standard before, it saw like one of two of type play. More in graveyard decks where you really cared about the Surveil. So it wasn't like a. It wasn't like some sort of ultra stapley 4 of, but it was playable. It was playable. Well, all right. Atali's Favor off of the Geological Appraiser. Put it on the Sage of the Skies. Do a little pump and discover 3. Spin it to win it. Spin it to win into even more Atali's Favors. Put it on the Sage of the Skies. Do it again. I mean, are they going to have a Wrath is the question. Spin it. We're going to eventually find the Sage. Sage of the Skies times 2. I mean, that's kind of a cute board on turn 4. It's not bad. If they just untap and go land into Deadly Cover-Up, that would be tough. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, go to combat. Get in, hit ya. Opponent. Anoint with Affliction. The question is, do we deploy more threats? Like, if they're going to Wrath, they got to Wrath this turn, right? Yeah, we're just going to pass. We're just going to pass. I feel like if they have a Wrath, this is the turn they got to cast it. If they don't have a Wrath, then we can still Mirrex. We still technically present lethal. Well, go to combat. Get in. Here they come. About it. Not enough mana for the rides. Wow. Gonna demo field the Mirrex. Okay. I don't know what this is doing for our opponent, but sure. Float a mana, grab a plains. Now we actually could cast the Ride's End. They can't fire up the cottage. They gotta have removal, right? Outrageous robbery to gain a single point of life. All right. Hit you to 1 and pass the turn. Put it on taps. If they win this, oh my goodness, I'm going to be so disappointed. Hey, what's up, Gordius? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, deadly cover up off the top rope. This is awkward. Should we be rides ending ourselves? Oh, this is so awkward, but we're gonna do it. So we're gonna rides on the Geological Appraiser. We're gonna rides on the Sage of the Skies. All right, exiling our own creatures for fun and profit. That means our opponent can't exile them, which means we get to Geological Appraiser into a Sage of the Skies, rebuild our board, hope that they don't have yet another Wrath, or then we start crying. Opponent plays a land of ours they exiled, passes, we hit a land. Well, Geological Appraiser. Spin it to win it, spin it to win it. Into the Sage of the Skies. Well, we're running out of things to discover into. Quintorius would have been so good. That would have just won us the game right away. Play the land, pass the turn. I don't know if Sage of the Skies, it's good in this deck. It is like actually the primary payoff of this deck. You gotta be kidding me. Opponent finds another one, gains a life, and we'll play a land. We'll play the Stormbrood. Will our opponent ever stop drawing removal and deadly cover-ups? We go up to 37. Opponent adapts. Opponent tear asunder, gains a life, up to 4. And passes. Well, Stormbrood. Again. Just die already. Up to 42. Opponent. Bitter triumph. Discarding an outrageous robbery. Please, for the love of God. Opponent. Outrageous robbery for 5. Super annoying. Plays a land, passes. Well, we'll play a Quintorius. We'll take it up, make a 3-2. Play a land, pass the turn. Opponent steals our Quintorius. Plays our Quintorius. Makes a spirit with Quintorius. And passes. Well, let's take down Quintorius. Do a little discovery. Play the Geological Appraiser. Hit you for 2. I mean, we're at 42 life. We're at 44 life, but I'm not sure we're winning this game. I don't think we have anything to hit here. Yeah. Nothing left to discover into. But we get to play the Sage of the Skies. Get a copy. Play the Monastery. Go to combat. Attack. There's no sweepers in our deck. Motherfrogger. Virtue of Loyalty. Gains 2. Goes to their exile, which I still don't. Why do they get to exile our card? You can't put your opponent's cards into your hand. It's always been weird to me that you can do that. We have a new spoiler. Ooh, all right, after this game, we will look at the new spoiler. I don't think we win this. I think we had what? Our opponent at 1. Opponent tear asunder. Kicks it to kill our Quintorius and gains even more life. We're not going to win this, are we? Geological Appraiser. Opponent gains some life. Into even more cornucopias. Wow. What a brutal way for this game to go. Well, exile. Anonymous Assembler. Opponent plays an Anonymous Assembler. From 1 all the way back up to 19, thanks to stealing our cards. Oh, well, go to combat, kill the Quintorius, hit our opponent, Opponent takes it. Play the Assembler. And a land go. The problem with Imodane's Recruiter, though, is do we want to spin in? I feel like Imodane's Recruiter, we're going to spin into it without much on the battlefield most of the time. They drew another deadly cover-up. We just saw them put one on the bottom, but they drew the 4th deadly cover-up. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. This game. Hey, what's up, Cat Cab, man? How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, opponent. Gonna exile some more stuff. I mean, I think we just scoop now. I don't think we can realistically win this game. I don't think there's anything left in our deck. We have 23 cards. I think our opponent is successfully exiled. Oh, man. I mean, in our defense, they did draw they drew 3 of 4 deadly cover-ups. The other one they put to the bottom. Wow, that's unfortunate. Not the best timing for that Quintorius now, is it? I'll make the Spirit. Play the land. Mind Splicer Apparatus, sure. Oh, dreams being crushed. We really need to beat this deck next time, though. We actually don't want to lose to it. I mean, I guess it's creative in a way. Doppelgang for 3. Yeah, we don't really have a way to interact with this. There's a reason that all the good decks in Standard are blue. And we're going hard mode in Boros. Like, our deck cannot interact with this. Like, we can't blow up an artifact. We can't counter anything. So I guess we just run it back and hope. Ooh. Doppelgang is a cool card. That's for sure. I do like Doppelgang. I feel like our opponent's deck's kind of a boring Doppelgang deck, though. Like, it's just playing a bunch of control stuff. They're not Doppelganging anything cool. I feel like they're an Expel deck, essentially. I mean, most of our removal is on creatures. We can try the Recruiters. I'm concerned that the Recruiters... So what I'm worried about with the Recruiters is we play like Geological Appraiser or Quintorius. We spin into imagine Quintorius, spin into Imodane's Recruiter. We do all this and warp our deck to get a 2/2 with haste, or I guess it gets buffed +1, but like, on the other hand, if we can like build a big board, then it actually seems reasonable. We'll try it. Can you return a land with Kieran? I'd have to read it. Sun Pearl Kieran. I believe it's non-land. Yeah, when it enters, return up to 1 target non-land permanent. Yeah, but we want to, like, the whole point of the deck's to, if you do the Discover thing, to build a big board. And I'm worried that the Recruiter will fizzle the build a big board plan, but we'll see. Hey, see, Volborn Tyrant, that's a legit thing to copy with Doppelgang. That's legit. I mean, I guess our opponent's plan is to just steal our stuff and copy it. But what do we see from their deck that's worth copying? Can the Chocobo return? I mean, well, let me see. Although I will say, like, the Chocobo, returning lands is, like, the least likely thing. It is another permanent, so you can return a land to your hand, which I guess works with the Chocobo landfall theme. But most of the time in the Pixie decks, you don't want to return lands. All right, well, not doing anything early, but that makes sense with this deck. We have 2 Discover spells. See how many deadly cover-ups our opponent has this time. Yeah, being able to bounce MDFCs, pretty good. Not bad. It's like drawing a card. Will there be a WotC stream today? There's always a WotC stream, although I don't think we're watching it. There's nothing special going on. Usually, so with the WotC stream, if it's something we're really interested in, or spoiler stream, like the first spoiler stream of the set, then we'll watch it. But I don't think we're gonna watch it every week, because a lot of weeks they're kind of not necessary. Well, okay. Virtue's not bad. Play the land, pass the turn. Yeah, it is kind of an awkward color for the Chocobo deck, isn't it? I don't know. Chocobos have mostly been green. I don't know if they really want to go into white. Well, play the land. Get in with the 2-2. Hit you down to 18. Opponent. Demo field. And passing. Drawing the Sage of this guy is kind of awkward. Well, play the land. Go to combat. Get in with the Knight. Hit you down to 60. And do some appraising. Geological appraiser. Spin it to win it. Spin it to win it. Into the Sage of the Skies. I mean, Sage of the Skies has felt fine in this deck. The Discover trick is cool. Like, we're consistently getting 2 copies. Found it. Gonna blow up the monastery. Who blows up a monastery? Well, let's get a plains. The band Chocobo Legend's super cool. I'm definitely going to try to build Chocobo with Standard. Will Chocobo actually work in Standard? That is a very, very different question. But I'm definitely going to try to build it. Well, go to combat. Get in. Hit ya. Opponent goes to 7. And I think we just play the Virtue. Wow. All right. Well, opponent, they must have a Wrath. Untap everything. Minds plays a apparatus. Ticking up. Opponent, show us that Wrath. They can't exile anything. There's the deadly cover-up, of course. Well, play Quintorius. Do a little discovery. Can we close out this game? Geological appraiser from exile. Come on, come on. Let's hit some of those enchantments. Can we cast enough from exile? We gotta get lucky, but it's possible. Oh, wait. Immodane's Recruiter? Immodane's Recruiter for the win? Immodane's Recruiter coming through? Go to combat. Get in. Hit ya. Kill ya. Wow. Okay. The Recruiter was actually exactly what we needed there. The Recruiter tech actually paid off. That was actually sweet. We survived the Wrath. Yeah, Recruiter. I underestimated the power of Recruiter. It worked out absolutely perfectly that game. Okay, that was pretty sweet. That was actually pretty sweet. Not bad. Not bad. Salvation Swan's going to be sick in the Chocobo deck. Yeah, it is so funny. You know they did that on purpose. When I read Salvation Swan the first time, I was like, "Oh, this is a bird that kind of sucks in a bird deck, right? Because the whole gimmick of birds in Magic is they fly. Like, pretty much every bird in Magic flies. So Salvation Swan not being able to exile things with flying is really awkward, right? Because it's supposed to be like a bird tribal card, but most birds fly, so it just does nothing in a bird deck. It makes so much sense now that we've seen the Chocobo, because the Chocobos don't fly. So now all of a sudden, Salvation Swan not only can blink them and let you reuse their triggers and save them from removal, but it turns them into real birds by giving them flying. So I think that was probably, Wizards knew this. Wizards knew it was going to happen. And when they printed Salvation Swan a year ago, they knew that we're going to get all these non-flying birds in the future. We didn't know it at the time, which made it look a little bit weird, but But I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Do I like the new side quest cards? So we've only seen 2 of them so far. I like the idea of them. I feel like the do a thing to get a reward. I like cards like that. I feel like neither of the 2 side quests that we've seen so far are probably standard cards. I feel like side quest to catch a fish. I actually really like this card for commander. Be in your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's an artifact or creature, it goes to your hand. And then if it goes to your hand, you create a food and flip it into a land. So it's a ramp spell, essentially. If you can flip it, that can pump your creatures. The Blitzball one. The Blitzball one, I think, is just probably not very good. Like, you're paying 3 mana for an enchantment that all it does is give a creature +2/+0. It doesn't give haste or anything. And then you got to deal 6 damage. And if you do, you flip around into an okay equipment. Like, Double Strike is very powerful. +2/+0 is nice. Equip for 3, kind of steep. So I like the design of them. I'd love to see, like, what a rare one looked like. In some ways, and I don't know what you think about this, I was looking at cards that are rotating. And sadly, a lot of the best decks don't really lose anything. But one of the things that's rotating is the battles. We're losing the battles. And I honestly feel like battles kind of flopped. And I feel like the reason battles kind of flopped, Burning Bush, Puntologist, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your resubs. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. I feel like one of the reasons that they flopped is that it turns out that having to send 3, 6, 8 damage at an enchantment or at a battle to flip it is just not worth it most of the time. I would love to see battles return and be more like side quests. Like, I would love to see battles that come back, but they flip based on something other than just like attack this with a bunch of damage, because it's just not worth attacking it with a bunch of damage in most cases. But it'd be really cool if something like this, and it would still work for battles, right? Hit your opponent for 6 damage. That would be very battle-y, and then your reward is you get the backside. So I hope they experiment more with battles, but with different conditions for flipping them. Yeah, battles that flipped in lands would be very good. Those would be very, very good. Excuse me. No more cut down, no more lockdown. No more Brothers It Ends. Yeah, it's so funny. Temporary lockdown leaving actually scares me. We'll see if Wizards got a plan. But if you just look at like what's rotating out of top decks, Prowess loses. Okay, so I should preface this by saying every deck is going to lose lands to some extent, losing all the pain lands, half the fast lands. So most decks are going to be affected somewhat in their mana base. Typically, that doesn't really matter. Like, it's going to matter a little bit for certain color combinations, but typically there's going to be enough dual lands that it's going to work out in the end. So everyone loses little lands, but, like, Prowess doesn't lose anything. Prowess loses Swiftspear. It loses Swiftspear. That's the only card. Oculus, I believe, loses literally nothing. Unless I'm missing something, I'm pretty sure it loses literally nothing. Mice lose literally nothing. Omniscience lose a couple of random, like, moment of truth effects that are probably replaceable, but we'll see. So a lot of the best decks in the format, we got a mulligan to one. All right, well, hopefully it's a matchup where Ride's End's good. As far as really impactful cards leaving the format, if we go to the most played cards, the biggest one is going to be the loss of temporary lockdown. I don't know what that means unless there's like a replacement for it. I am not really sure what that's going to mean for standard, because that is the cleanest answer to the Prowess decks. Yeah, I mean, the thing about temporary lockdown is it's kind of unique, right? We haven't historically had a lot of sweepers that work that way, where it's getting rid of, well, I guess we do this now. They appear to be a control deck. So yeah, I mean, hopefully they print some sort of replacement, but like split up is not a replacement because you need it to get rid of the steel cutter and all the tokens. Yeah, the decks that get wrecked. So we talked about a lot of decks that lose nothing. There are decks that get absolutely wrecked by rotation, and the decks that get wrecked, the biggest one is Zur. Zur, I think there'll still be an Overlord up the Beanstalk deck of some kind, but Zur as it exists today will not be there. There's no Zur, there's no Leyline Binding. It's going to be a whole new deck. If something emerges with those cards, it's going to be a different deck. And then the black-based mid-range decks get kind of hurt quite a bit, although I'm not sure if it makes those decks like unplayable. Because the biggest thing that the black decks lose is removal spells. They lose pretty much all of their best removal spells, especially the non-bounce builds. But like, Cut Down goes, Dreams of Steel and Oil, Annoy with Affliction, Go for the Throat, Gix's Command. You don't lose much creatures. I guess Shieldred, some decks play as like a one of. Archfiend of the Draw is probably the most impactful creature. So it'll be interesting to see how the black-based mid-range decks, how they try to rebuild. Sadly, Monstrous Rage does not rotate. Although I would bet money right now. I would bet money right now that it will be banned. I cannot imagine a world. Oh, I don't want to imagine a world. I don't want to imagine a world where they do not ban Monstrous Rage. I think it's going to happen. Hey, D1s, Fierzos, thank you so much. I love you too. Welcome to the stream. Good to see ya. It's going to happen. It's going to get banned. Speaking of temporary lockdown, we are going to get temporarily locked down. Well, go Autonomous Assembler. I feel like this might be a bad matchup for our deck. This might not be the best matchup. All right, Assembly Worker Tribal, get in there. Despite all my rage, still just a rat in a cage. Someone, oh my goodness, Smashing Pumpkins. Whatever happened to Smashing Pumpkins? I feel like Smashing Pumpkins is like one of the peak 90s like rock bands. I guess all those bands kind of suck now. When I think of like the peak 90s rock, I feel like all those bands are just kind of not good anymore. All right, a Tally's Favor. Spin it to win it, don't kill our assembler. Jerk. All right. Actually, no, we need a land more. Sure, opponent gonna kill our assembler. Not a fan of the Assembly Worker Tribal deck. Can we hit a land? No. Feral Shrieker. Actually, we probably need to keep that to discard a Ride's End. Ride's End doesn't seem like it does much in this matchup. Get in, hit ya. Hey guys, new to MTG Arena. What is a resource where I can check which cards or sets will rotate? Let me see if I have the right name for this. So, I believe you want to go to what'sinstandard.com, the aptly named what'sinstandard.com. Is this updated? Yes, this is updated. So, Meringue River Regent. So, at rotation, Dominaria United Brothers, War, Phyrexian will be one, March of the Machines, and Aftermath. Those are going to rotate when we get Edge of Eternities this summer. After that rotation, the next rotation, going to be Wilds, Eldraine, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't happen until January 2027. So we're going to have like a year and a half until we get to that. But those are the sets. Honestly, I don't think it's going to have that huge of an impact. Like, some decks will get hurt, but really, these are some of the weaker sets in Standard right now. If you just look at Billy Corgan's running a he's running a pro wrestling company out of Atlanta? Okay. I guess you never know with Billy. Oh, come on now. Draw a land challenge. Apparently impossible. Still not a land. Well, you're gonna go to the graveyard. Get in there, assembler. What is our opponent's deck? That's another spectacular pileup. Opponent gonna block. All right, pass the turn. Hey, Seth. What is the Standard is Flourishing meme? So many people are referencing it. I had no idea what they were talking about. So the the last ban list update for standard, people were kind of hoping, that that there would be some bannings, that perhaps they would ban something like, well, let's Geological Appraiser. Like Monstrous Rage was the card people were really hoping for. Also up the Beanstalk this time, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, people were hoping there was going to be some bannings. And when they posted the ban list update, it was no changes. And the first line in their description of why they wouldn't change anything was standard is flourishing. Standard is flourishing, period. So the community has kind of latched onto that line, and it's kind of become a bit of a meme whenever anyone wants to complain about standard. It was honestly kind of a line that I would say they maybe perhaps should not have written. Like, they should have seen it coming. Yeah. It was, from a PR perspective, it was not the best way to write that line, because as soon as I read it, I knew it was gonna be a thing. Oh, all right, well, yeah, I guess we gotta Rise End that Meringue River Regent. Get in Hetchia down to 8. I wanted to play one of these. I guess we need to make lethal, so let's Atali's Favor. Spin into another Sage's, guys, eventually. Atali's Favor. Well, let's see if they got a Wrath. We have presented lethal. Well, okay, we have gotten all the Atali's Favors out of our deck. And eventually it's going to be a Sage of the Skies. It's got to be a Sage of the Skies. All right, there's the Sage of the Skies. ×2, pass the turn. Yeah, they only had, because there was only one targeted mode. So the way that spells work, and they try very hard not to let spells fizzle anymore, but if there's only one target on a spell, and that target's removed, the entire spell fizzles. So because they chose create a token of target creature, and then draw 2, discard 2, killing the creature fizzles the entire thing. On the other hand, if they were like, counter target spell and make a copy and draw, and we killed the creature, then it would still resolve, because at least one of the targets was still legal. Visa up to 12. Can we win this game? Wait, let's think about this. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can't win no matter what we do. Oh, it has trample. Oh, it has trample. I think we have Exaxes. So we kill the Biza, Twin Maw Stormbrood, and then dragging down this fish, and Atali's Favor gonna trample over the control deck. Sage of the Skies. Wait, did we break it? Did we break it already? I think we might have broke it. Speaking of trample, Wizards, stop putting trample on cheap red cards. My God. I mean, Atali's Favor is fine, but I honestly feel like too much trample Labrador, I actually feel is like one of the biggest issues in Standard right now. Mr. Love, can we assume they go for the throat? They go for the throat, we'll get Repentant Edge from Eternities. It's too iconic to rotate out, isn't it? I actually think it's pretty unlikely. If you look at... So there will be something similar. But if you look at the story of Magic, going back to Alpha, way back in Alpha, they printed Terror. 2 mana, destroy a creature. You can't kill black creatures or artifact creatures. They printed Terror. Eventually, this became Doomblade. This was the default for the early years of Magic. Eventually, this shifted to Doomblade. Destroy any non-black creature. Then we got Go for the Throat. So we got Go for the Throat back in Mirrored and Besieged. We have right now Shoot the Sheriff in Standard. So all this to say, there will be a replacement for Go for the Throat, but Go for the Throat itself, I think, is unlikely to return right now. It's so the effect is a staple that's always going to exist. 2 mana black, kill a thing, always going to exist in Standard, but the exact version changes from format to format pretty often. I feel like trample is way better on big green creatures than cheap red creatures. Or cheap red spells. Like, Red can have trample in some scenarios, I think, and it's fine. But I actually think putting like, the silliest thing, and it's even a flavor fail, but like putting it on mice, come on, Wizards, come on. Mice are, in the entire world, probably the least threatening creature that exists. Like, mice are pretty far down the list of threats, I would say. We're gonna do the same sideboard plan. I've become a believer in Immodane's Recruiter, and let's bring in this Chimmel. Try it like that. You're scared of the mice? Mice are nice. He said, because he's a poet. I don't really mind mice. Out of all the, in general, I like animals. Although I've had some like ridiculous big spiders in my house. Like two really big. I don't really like spiders, but two really big spiders this week in my house for some reason. Did you know that Kurt Cobain's daughter married Tony Hawk's son, and they have a child? His name is Ronan Hawk. I did not know that. What are the odds? Two 90s icons. Oh man. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Best sports game? It might be the best sports game. No, that's Tecmo Super Bowl, but one of the best sports games. Mice trampling, I mean, it's not my immersion, it's my face. It's my face that hurts from all the damage those trampling mice deal to me. But I would use that as an argument for why, like, it also doesn't make sense flavor-wise. Like, power level is kind of the issue, but flavor-wise, it also doesn't really make sense to me that mice would be trampling. What do you prefer, the red aggro in standard right now, or black X dominated standard a few years ago? So I didn't like the black X dominated standard, but I think I enjoyed it. I think I like it more than the aggro dominated standard. At least, so back during like Rakdos Fable the Mirror Breakers standard, we had similar metagame percentages. If you look at it, like very similar, where we had decks that were the top decks, maybe 30-40% of the meta when they finally banned it. So metagame percentage was similar. At least against the black decks, they were a little bit slower. They were still very demoralizing, especially Invoke Despair, where it's like, oh, I want to play a cool enchantment, and this card just kills it. So it was very demoralizing, but at least you had more time to do things. I saw this post. I'm curious what you think about this, because I saw this post, and I think it might actually describe the issue most people have with Standard. And I think the issue, it might not be exactly the colors, or the prowess, or even the archetypes, but I saw someone say, and I've been thinking about this for like 2 days now, that the issue with Standard is that most of the best decks can win all in one turn out of nowhere with no prior setup. And it makes it feel like nothing you did before that in the game actually mattered or had an effect on the game. You have Omniscience that just like, oh, I reanimate Omniscience, I win. You have the Prowess decks or the Mice decks. Oh, I cast a couple of Monstrous Rages, I win. You could even argue that some of the stuff like reanimating an Oculus on turn 3, turn 2. Like, yes, that doesn't literally win you the game, but it puts you very far ahead and you're likely to win. It kind of reminds me of Ugin. We used to talk about this with Ugin in Standard, where Ugin was a very frustrating Standard card because it would come down and just nothing you did before in the game would matter because it just rasped away everything and nothing you did actually mattered, and then Ugin wins. And it was kind of a feel bad. I feel like a lot of the best decks in Standard kind of do something similar, but they're like doing it on turn 4, turn 3 instead of turn 8 with Ugin. So I thought that was actually a very interesting comment, and I think it might actually be true that the winning out of nowhere can be frustrating for players because it feels like you don't have the agency, right? It feels like your decision making doesn't really matter when you lose out of nowhere. So I thought that was actually a pretty interesting way to view it that I think I might agree with. Mr. Peaches, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. I used to play Tecmo Super Bowl when I was a kid. That's when it was, that's when dirt was newly invented. Tecmo's, oh boy, we played Tecmo Super Bowl, seriously. This was like, not even that long ago. Me and me and some of my friends, like in the last few years, would do techno Super Bowl leagues and play like an entire season, like with ROM against each other. I love that game. Although Bo Jackson is so OP. Speaking of broken things, we think Magic is a broken game, and I guess Magic kind of can be broken sometimes. But Bo Jackson in Tecmo Super Bowl, one of the strongest video game characters of all time, I'd say. Do we even do anything here? You know what? We're just gonna pass. It feels very weird, but we're just gonna pass in Murex, I guess. Yeah, it feels like a Wrath has got to be coming, or they're gonna die. Opponent untaps. We know they're playing. Oh, Day of Judgment as well. Opponent, Day of Judgment. Rest away the board. Would be nice if we could hit our land drop. Well, let's make a Murex token. If you had to design new ley lines, what would this standard need? I think High Noon would be great. Ooh. Okay. So if you could print ley lines that would be helpful for standard. Oh, we're so bad at hitting lands. All right, well, let's Atali's favor. Spin it to win it, spin it to win it into the Sage of the Sky, eventually. Sage of the Sky. Make a copy. The problem we're going to have is they're going to have this Overlord attacking, and we don't have a way to kill it, and that's just going to make so many bodies. Yeah. Ooh, Meringue River. Yeah. Here comes the dragons. Leyline Engineered Plague. That would be interesting. What about, okay, how about a Ghostly Prison? Could we have a Ghostly Prison? Still not a land. All right, yeah, we can't beat these two dragons here. Would Ghostly Prison be too busted for standard? On a leyline, it would be sick. Leyline is Singularity. Ooh. I don't know if that would see any play, but that is a spicy one. Leyline of High Noon. Leyline of Blood Moon. They never put it in standard, but Leyline of Propaganda. Yeah, I feel like an effect like that. I don't know. I guess it still just gets into the Flood mod. Oh, solitary confinement. That would be absolutely brutal. Leyline of Emrakul, the Eon Storm. Ghostly Prison itself would probably be too slow. I mean, I think the big issue is actually just that they can just bounce it, right? Like that's like they'll just build up a big board into the Flood mod, attack you for lethal. I mean, we kind of have Leyline of the Soul Sister in standard and Leyline of Hope. Leyline of Time Vault. Oh, you know what I want? Leyline of Trinisphere. My life. Oh my goodness. There's probably not a card that I want more in Magic than Leyline of Trinisphere. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a Trinisphere that you play on turn 0 for free? Oh, that is some good, clean Magic. Leyline of Humility. Ristic. Oh, we're making the most hated cards in the history of Magic. We did the viewers submitted a Commander Clash yesterday. We recorded it. We had some super fun decks. Thank you to everyone for sending in your sweet decks. There were some good ones. Leyline of Shahrazad. I still want to do, I haven't figured out how to record it, but one of the things I want to do most is a Commander Clash where Shahrazad's legal. I just don't know if it's possible to actually record. I don't know how to do it because I feel like it would literally be like a 24-hour game. Like if you actually played the full game the way you're supposed to completion, I feel like, yeah, we'll keep this. I feel like it would just never end. Yeah, everyone would have to play Shahrazad. And then I imagine what happens is someone plays Shahrazad, and then in the sub game, someone Shahrazards, and then in that sub game, someone Shahar, and you eventually end up. You eventually just end up in like, we need to complete this game so we can get back to that game, so we can get back to that game to eventually get back to the game that we started playing. You probably would need subs. That would be the way to. Oh no, drawing all these sages. The thing with Sage of the Skies in our deck is it seems pretty good when we cascade into it. I don't think these control matchups are where it's at its best. It seems pretty good when we cascade into it. It seems much less good when we just have to cast it as a 2/3. Well, Geological Appraiser, spin it to win it. How about a Imodane's Recruiter? We will accept that. Haste up the boys and smack ya. Actually, I'm kind of really impressed with Imodane's Recruiter. I'm finding more and more that that's the card I want to spin into the most. Opponent has a Day of Judgment, unfortunately. Well, how about a Geologic? Actually, let's play the land first. Geological Appraiser. Spin it to win it, spin it to win it. Into Imodane's Recruiter. Hit you for 6, down to 4. Can we close out the game? Get in, hit you. Found it. Oh, down to 3, actually. Come on. Hold. We need one more Imodane's Recruiter. Found it. Thinking. Counting. Come on. Let's beat this control deck. Opponent passes. Itali's Favor. Well, I think we cast it. That gives us 2 lethal threats. The +1/+1 from Itali's Favor. And it could spin into an Imodane's Recruiter. Come on. One more. Okay, Itali's Favor. Come on. One more. We need one more Imodane's Recruiter. Oh, we found it. Imodane's Recruiter. Actually the best card in the deck. Maybe we should just be maining the Imodane's Recruiters because it's so good. Bonnet has a Cutzel's Flanker. Wait, that doesn't keep them alive, right? That can't keep them alive. Opponent goes up to 5. Does a little scry. We haste up the crew. Go to combat. Get in. And opponent scoops it up. Whew. Yeah, I think maybe. Ooh, Leyline Serum Powder. That would be interesting. I don't know if we actually want more Leylines though. As cool as Leylines are, I was thinking yesterday. I was thinking about Standard because we had all the Is It Prowess stuff, all the bustedness at the RC. So I was thinking about Standard. So I went back and I looked up Standard 10 years ago. I actually found it in the Wayback Machine. Went back to May 2015, Dragons of Tarkir Standard, and I probably spent a half hour just looking at this. And I was just like, man, that was such a cool time in Magic. And I'm sure it's me being a boomer and hindsight bias and add all that in there. But just look at it like Siege Rhino, Hero's Downfall, the best removal spell in the format, Fleece mainline. People were playing face down Den Protectors and flipping them up. Like, that was a thing. That was a Sidisi Whip. Sidisi Whip was one of the coolest. That deck was so cool. I love that deck so much. Like, Sidisi Whip was such a fun deck. I hated Bat Heroic. Hated Heroic. I still hate that style of deck. The Jeskai Tokens deck was cool. Oh, man. What a cool format that was. What a cool format. Oh, yeah, Sidisi Whip was fun. It's funny, Siege Rhino was hated at the time, although now it's 1,000 Year Storm Shahars. Stone Rain, get out of here with that. I don't even want to. My life, Stone Rain, my life. Won't you think of the poor content creators out there? Oh, let's play 20 sub games. Wet Jacket deck concept. What is this? Wet Jacket. Ooh, Cursed Windbreaker. Okay, Cryptic Coat. What is Cursed Windbreaker? When it enters, manifest dread, then attached to the creature, flying. Splash Portal. Ooh, Satoru. We've seen Satoru do a bit in older formats. Not too much in Standard. Yeah, that's. Oh, I forgot Vein Ripper is still in Standard. Remember when Vein Ripper was like the best thing in Pioneer for a minute? Can't wait to play my SpongeBob Spider-Man deck. It's coming. You can throw in some Doctor Who, some timey-wimey. Maybe some instant ramen. I heard SpongeBob loves instant ramen. I don't know about the timey-wimey. The timey-wimey, I don't know. Do people in Britain eat instant ramen? Do you like instant ramen, chat? I'm actually curious. I know every time I talk about ramen, people get mad because they're like, "Oh, you got to eat the restaurant ramen. It's nothing like that." And I'm sure they're right that if I went to a good ramen restaurant, I'm sure I would feel differently. I've never had like restaurant ramen. I've only had like the soup. I think of ramen as like college food, like the cheapest food that you can get that kind of sustains you, sort of, and it's super fast and easy and just incredibly cheap. That's what I know of ramen. I've never had like good restaurant ramen. It is, for the price, it is good and probably like at least a little healthy. Like most of the things that you can get that cheap are probably even less healthy than instant ramen, I would say. It's like only having a microwave grocery store pizza. That actually is probably the perfect comparison, actually. Instant ramen is a gets the job done food that you can easily upgrade. Pho. I don't think I've ever had pho. That's what everyone tells me, Ravens boy, is I think you can even get it in the US if you go to, like, I know like Krim and Richard have talked about like restaurants they've went to. So if you're in like the city or whatever, you can probably get pretty good restaurant ramen in the US, but I've never had that kind of ramen, but I've heard lots of people say that it's very good. Well, let's keep on doing nothing. Lango. Currently building a Patrick Star secret supervillain deck using a ton of random group slug and burn spells and randomized removal like last one standing. Oh, that sounds sweet, Pontologist. Foe. Yeah, I've what? Foo? How am I foo? That's probably foo. How am I supposed to say it? I actually don't know. Double Quintorius. That could do some work in the future. Our opponent appears to be a dragon deck, perhaps, with the Soggy Wildling. Double up the Beanstalk is a issue. Fa. Okay, fa. Interesting. You know those super long subathon streams? Maybe you do a Charizard game. During one of those, you can fill up 12 hours. Yeah, that would be the way to do it. If you could get... Maybe it would be like a charity thing. Maybe you could do a charity stream. What would be really cool... Oh, God, this is going to be bad news. What would be really cool, super cool, is if you got a group of people and you start the commander game. When someone plays Charizard, you like sub in people to play the sub game. So you'd have different people rotating in and just keep it going for like 12 or 24 hours and just like have that be the thing. That would actually be pretty sweet. Charity stream in each sub game is another donation as its prize. Ooh, yeah. See, that's a good idea. That's probably the way to do it. I bet people could get on board for that. Well, here we go. Quintorius, spinach win. Oh no. Oh, the low roll. Oh, Atali's favor has been very good, but this is not the time for Atali's favor. It seems sweet, but the sub game is played with full new decks that are all running Charizard. Yeah. No one would ever, it would never end. Like, okay, do you think a game with everyone playing Charizard, would it end? Especially considering if you tell people that everyone's playing Charizard, I imagine people are going to build around it. Like the 1,000 Year Storm thing that Stone Rain suggested, I imagine someone actually builds that or something similar. Oh, we're getting absolutely drowned in card advantage here. Or something similar to that. Wait, how would Mill end it? Oh, Mill because the decks wouldn't be that big because of the sub game. That actually kind of makes sense. Yeah, all right, mini rant. Let's do a little mini Beaners rant here. So one of the things I've seen recently, as people have been talking about standard, is, boy, do we just Quintorius? Yeah, okay. If we had another Atali's favor, we're probably just straight up dead. But Quintorius. Discover. Okay. Geological Appraiser. Drainia. I've heard so many people say lately. All right, there's the Sages, guys. Well, we built a little board. Not very confident that it's going to beat double up the Beanstalk. I've heard a lot of people say lately, oh, well, a few months ago, everyone was whining that up the Beanstalk needed to be banned. And now it's not a very big percentage of the meta. Up the Beanstalk still should have been banned. I will stand by that. People think that's like a gotcha. I will stand by. My personal opinion is, even though Up the Beanstalk is not as big of a part of the meta now as it was 6 months ago, I still think that if I had my way, they would have still banned it. And the fact that it's a lower metagame percentage now doesn't actually change my opinion on that at all. Same with like Shieldred. When people were like, oh yeah, everyone wanted Shieldred banned back when it was 60% of the format 2 years ago, and now it's not that big a part of the meta, like, so obviously it was right not to ban. I'm like, no, like, at the time when it was 60% of the meta, it was still the correct thing to do. It doesn't matter now that a year and a half later, it's only 30% of the meta, or 20, whatever the number is. I haven't looked recently. No, that doesn't matter. Like, there's a little bit of like hindsight bias or something going on there. Huh. Well, I guess we just take our beats. If they're wrathing here, that's kind of bad for us. Kind of really bad for us. At least we didn't get Zerd. Zur. I'm glad Zer's going to rotate. Zer's so funny. Zer was like unplayed for 2 years and then became incredibly powerful. Overlord of the Mismores. Opponent going to draw 2 cards with Up the Beanstalk. Leyline Up the Beanstalk. Leyline, huh. Leyline of, what about Leyline of Leyline Binding? I guess that would do nothing on turn 0. I wanted Leyline of like Stone Rain, but that doesn't do anything on turn 0 because there's no land to blow up. Yeah, I think we are getting close. Yeah, I think we have reached the... Well, all right, we can a Tally's favor. I think we have mostly reached the concession part of the game, but Tally's favor. Spin it to win it, spin it to win it into Sage of the Skies. Play the Sage of the Skies. Play the land. I mean, all we can really do is double removal spell and Overlord of the Mismores. The problem is, the axis we're losing on is card advantage. Like, we've built a kind of cute board here. We built a kind of cute board, but our opponent has unlimited cards, and we have 2 lands, which means if our opponent ever does anything, like a Zur or a Wrath, then they just have it. We can stick it out for a couple turns, though, because maybe they have a bunch of lands. Like, we could theoretically win in a couple of turns if they have nothing, but... Leyline of Corey Steel Cutter, please. Ooh, Leyline of the Cheese Stands Alone would actually be sweet. That would actually be super sweet. You know what Standard really needs? Leyline of Thalia. Leyline of Thalia... That would actually be pretty sweet. Or maybe, is there a better Leyline of Thorn of Amethyst. But from the, oh! How? Wait, are they just giving up on Magic? They were beating us severely. Why? Why did we win that game, chat? Why did we win? Why did they scoop? Oh, I was very close to scooping the turn before that. Do you think they thought we had them dead? Or do they just not want to play anymore? Ooh, Leyline of Rule of Law. Yeah, we had no business winning that game. Literally no business. But now we get to bring in the Immodane's Recruiters, our best card. This is like when you have like, who was it? Was it Russell Westbrook that came off the bench back in the day? This is like having Russell Westbrook on your bench. our best card actually coming in off the sideboard. How do we fight this? I feel like this sideboard could use enchantment removal, artifact removal. That's something we really don't have. That I feel like would be kind of good in the deck. All right, something like that. Run it. Should Corey Steelcutter be banned? What are your thoughts if something should be banned? Oh, was it Harden that came off the bench? I knew it was one of them. Harden flopping his way to the Hall of Fame. I swear Harden has the ugliest game. My God. I hate watching Harden play basketball. I can respect that he's very good at doing his thing and like he's very successful at it, but boy do I hate watching him play. I haven't like if I follow a team the most in the NBA, it's the Sixers. And he was on the Sixers and I still did not like watching him play. Just the way he plays. Ugh. Not exactly. On the other hand, I love watching Jokic play. So good. I feel like the NBA is in an interesting spot right now. We're getting to like the NBA goes in these eras where you have like these superstars that are essentially I think our opponent just quit playing. Like I'm pretty sure they actually just quit and we're gonna get the free win. They go through apparently that was true. They go through these eras of having all these superstar players that like dominate the game. And then eventually those players like rotate out and a new generation comes up. And I think we're like right about at that point. We're like the last great generation of LeBron and Steph Curry and who else is on that list? Yeah, Embiid maybe. Like a lot of those people are getting to the end, and we're gonna see a new generation of these young people coming up, and it's gonna be interesting to see who the next best player in the league is. Like I don't know who it's gonna be. It should be Wemby. I've never seen anything like Wemby. Like it should be him eventually, but it could be someone else. Butler, yeah, Butler's rotating out. It's basically rotation. It basically is rotation, the basketball version. I love watching Joker play. He's kind of, I guess he's kind of in the middle. Like he's definitely the best player in the world right now, I would say. But he's also, how old is Joker? He's got to be like 30, right? I feel like Joker's game probably ages well though, because it's not built around athleticism, right? Like he's not a very athletic looking dude. He's just incredibly good at basketball. He gives everyone hope. It's the old man pickup game at the Y, just like the best imaginable version of it. I guess we can do this at instant speed. Let's just pass. Are you ready to see the future? We're doomed. Oh, halfwing. You got me scared. This better not have. Oh no. VV Steel Cutter. Actually, I'm curious what you think. Do you think VV is going to be good enough for the Steel Cutter list? I'm the only one on the podcast that's skeptical. But I'm actually, it says Jeskai. Man, we were playing Control nonstop. We've played Control like almost every round in this game, right? I guess we played the domain deck for a second before they scooped. But it was like Sultai Control, Blue-White Control. The Control players are out in force, that's for sure. Well, get him with the token, hit ya. I mean, we have been winning. We haven't lost with this deck yet, right? We've been winning them all somehow. Ooh, Landline of Future Sight would be sweet. Yeah, it's so wild to me. Because VV is an incredibly powerful card. Like, the way it's worded is incredibly scary. Like, the way it's worded with, like, make mana equal to its power is such an abusable ability. But at the same time, I feel like the prowess decks are fast enough. It's a 3-mana creature that doesn't do anything right away. Like, you play it, and it just kind of sits there. So, on turn 3, like, if you untap with it, it's insane. But there's a lot of cards in Standard that if you would untap with them, they're insane. So, I'm actually, I don't know. I'm actually in the fence on VV. I feel like we can definitely build, like, a super sweet combo deck around it, like an Against Odds combo deck, where it's going to be really, really spicy. But whether or not they just slot it into, like, tier prowess, yeah, isn't it insane to say that? The idea that a three mana card would just be too slow for standard is kind of, well, we're just gonna play this. This plays around a Wrath the most. So get in, hit you down to 10, untap everything, grow it. We have lethal on board. Our opponent going to Day of Judgment, I'm sure. They just stocked up. I mean, they better Day of Judgment, or else Sage of the Skies, new tier 0. Biza, okay. Opponent goes to 14. Can we win somehow? Oh, you know what I wish? I wish we had a Immodane's Recruiter in our deck. If only we had an Immodane's Recruiter. Well, let's just play this Storm Shrieker, I guess. Hit you with the Flyers. Down to 5. Untap them all. All right, no Wrath. No Wrath. No Wrath. Land. Sunfall? Come on, don't Sunfall us. You don't see Sunfalls much anymore. They're too... Speaking of too slow, Sunfall's kind of too slow, too. Opponent. Thinking. Counting. Dying? Hopefully. Have they picked an arena-safe name for Spider-Man yet? It's not that we've seen. It's got to be Arachnid Human, something like that. Opponent. Bounces and bounces. Wow, is this exact? Oh, it's 2 mana to pump it? Oh, Storm Shriek. Storm Shriek. Well, let's just attack. We might be able to win with Trample here. Because Atali's favor is apparently busted somehow. Opponent blocks. Opponent blocks. Opponent blocks. You gotta block with all of them. Nope. Okay. Well, exile you and win Xaxes. Oh! Apparently we are the control assassins. Arachnid Humanoid. It's gotta be Arachnid Humanoid. I mean, no, it's gonna be, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be loot. It's gonna be loot. Loot is gonna be, or Kellen. It's gonna be Kellen. Oh, 3 Kellens in a trench coat. 3 Kellens in a Spider-Man outfit. Do you think it'll be worth it to keep older sets in standard? Like, all will be when our Brothers War has cards that see very little play anymore. Personally, I prefer the shorter rotation with less cards in standard. I'm still willing to give it a chance. It is true that we still, because they did it in such a chaotic way, we still haven't gotten to the point where every set's been designed for 3 years standard. I kind of feel like that's a failing artifact, though, because I feel like sets just aren't designed for standard anymore. It feels like they're primarily designed for Commander or whatever. So I'm not sure how much it matters, like whether they're designing it for, you know, specifically for 3-year standard or not, because I feel like they just don't design for standard that much, or at least that's what it feels like. Whether or not that's actually true, but that's how it feels sometimes. Loot's gonna be the Pikachu for the eventual Pokemon crossover. Where do we go from here with Universes Beyond, though? Like, they did Final Fantasy, they did Lord of the Rings. The fact that they're doing a Magic space set makes me think that they're not going to be able to do Star Wars. I feel like they're not going to be able to do... I feel like they wouldn't do the Magic space set if they actually had the ability to do Star Wars. All right, go Quintorius Khan. I bet it'll be someone from Ikoria bonding with a spider. And they're like Flibblethip and Borborgamo style cards where it's 2 creatures on a single card. Oh, that, I could see that. I've heard, do you actually think this space set's going to be Eldrazi? I've heard rumors, I've heard speculation on that. A lot of people speculating. I don't know where the speculation's coming from exactly. It would be interesting. if the space set was Eldrazi themed. Elden Rings, Elder Scrolls. I imagine that I'd be surprised if they did Harry Potter. I think if they were going to do Harry Potter, it would have been with Strixhaven. And I feel like there's just so much controversy around it that Wizards probably isn't gonna want to get involved in that, would be my guess. Resident Evil, that'd be interesting. Number one most desired universe. Wait, what's the number one most desired universes beyond? All right, opponent. Lightning Helix, we get a Tally's favorite hand. Not exactly what we were hoping for there. Do you think Magic would ever cross over with another card game? So like a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh crossover or something? Well, Elephant Time. Don't counter it. Shouldn't Chimmel also not be counterable? I feel like if you're spending 6 mana for this, it also should probably be uncounterable. Biza. Alright, well, opponent plays a sad Biza. We're going to play a land. We're going to play a Chimmel. Spin it to win it, spin it to win it into Geological Appraiser. Not bad. Cast it. Spin it to win it. Spin it to win it. This is where we're going to get a sad Modane's Recruiter. The Tally's Favor. Okay, I guess we'll play it. Spin into, yeah. So I think we just put the Recruiter in hand. I don't think we actually play it here because it doesn't do anything. Star Wars, so Stone Rain. If there's a Star Wars crossover, would that get you back in Magic? Would that get you to start playing again? Is there a Universes Beyond that would make you start playing Magic? And is there one that would make you quit playing Magic? Is there a Universes Beyond set out there that would just be so bad you wouldn't be able to stand it? I don't think there's Universes Beyonds that if they printed, I would think were super cringe. And they would make me feel silly. But I don't know if there's discounting stuff they obviously would never do. That's just like straight up, offensive in some way. Just like, okay, we can't do that. Discounting that, which they'd never do anyway, because it would just tank their business. I don't know if there's anything that they could do that would make me quit. I've actually been rewatching some South Park lately, and the show's actually pretty good. The show's better than I remembered in some ways. We are timing out. How do we not time out? So if we play Gintorius, they can attack it. We do have a Chimmel. I think we just Geological Appraiser. Play the Appraiser. Spin it to win it, spin it to win it. Into a Tally's Favor. And opponent has some removal. Get lost. All right, sure. Sure. Well, pass the turn. Discover 5 into... All right. Immodane's Recruiter to hand. This is the worst that the Immodane Recruiters have felt. They felt so good. I've seen a lot of people saying they want another Warcraft crossover. Apparently the first one didn't cover everything. Chico. Oh, that's really bad news. That's really bad news. Now we lose our Chimmel. Not feeling too great about where we're at now. Yeah, we kind of needed that Chimmel. Well, Chimmel down. Have we finally met our match against the control opponent? Hits us down to 12. Bride's End. Well, that's the Tally's Favor. Spin it to win it. All right, we're gonna cast it this time. These Immodane Recruiters have gotten way worse this game. Sage of the Skies, make a copy. I mean, we have a few bodies. They're not doing anything, but we got a few bodies. What is your most desired universes beyond? No matter how unlikely or realistic. Found it. Temporary lockdown. Gets our maps and a token. Goes attacking. Well, I guess we block. Huh. How can we do this? I feel like whatever we do is about to get countered. Let's just pass and try to deal with the Shiko, I think. Simpsons, it's so tough. It's such a tough question because there's IPs that I really like, but I'm still not sure I want them made into a Universes Beyond. Like, Simpsons is a classic adult animated. Like, I love The Simpsons. It's a classic. I don't know if I want a Bart Simpson's magic card, though. I could get behind a Secret Lair, but I don't know if I'd want a full set. I think I would actually not want that, as weird as that might sound. Well, all right, let's get down the elephant. Let's discover. 4 into Sage of the Skies. Is Sage of the Skies actually good? A Lair drop would be very good. I imagine, do you think they'll do Game of Thrones? I could imagine Game of Thrones. I feel like Game of Thrones, it's getting to that point where it's like 10 years past its peak, or like however many years past its peak, which sometimes we see with Universes Beyond sets. It's got dragons and fantasy stuff, so the flavor kind of works. On the other hand, it's very R-rated, and it's kind of hated now because of how poorly it ended, or like at least not as liked as it was on season 4 or whatever. But the flavor would kind of fit. Yeah, we probably got to get down the virtual loyalty. We can't get in enough damage with Immodanes, right? We only have 3. Yeah, let's play the Virtue. Start cracking some maps. Yeah, I mean, I guess the removal spell's not bad. Keep the ride, then. Grow the Sage. Pass the turn. Grow the Dorks. I mean, we're still in this somehow against the control deck. We are fighting and clawing and staying alive on a Surveil land. And about it. Maybe Sage of the Skies is a good card. Wow. Split up to kill the entire board. Well, let's train the troops. Pass the turn. Opponent, 3 cards in hand. Biza. Wow, full powered Biza. Almost. Doesn't get the treasure, gets everything else. Well, let's train the troops. This virtual loyalty is doing some work. Grow the team. Oh, Dragon Ball Z would. That would kind of make sense. I imagine they'll do another D&D one at some point. Since you asked, Wizards has sold their soul for the bigger wallet. I quit over a year ago. If WotC just made Magic cards in the Magic universe, I would come back. So Universes Beyond was the deal breaker for you, Stone Rain. I mean, I can see that. I'm sure you are not the only one. Shiko. What do they have in the graveyard? There's not a temporary lockdown, right? All right, stock up to dig for the temporary lockdown. If they find temporary lockdown here, it's annoying. Everything else is kind of okay-ish. Found it. Draws 2 more. Gonna go to combat. And passes? Okay. Okay. So now what do we do? We could double recruiter. Swing out. Yeah, let's go for it. Recruiter. Pump the dorks. Recruiter. Are they going to counter this one? All right, opponent counters one of the recruiters. Well, get in with the 5/4s. Opponent going to trade off the Biza. Do a little fish jump. All right, grow the dorks past the turn. Ooh, Smash Bros. See, I would actually enjoy a Smash Bros. You know, so many stock ups. I would actually enjoy a Smash Bros. Secret Lair. I could actually get behind that. Those are pretty iconic characters. I'm almost surprised they didn't try to do something like that to line up with like the new Switch releasing or whatever. About it. Getting in with a Shiko hits us down to 12. Now let's crack a map. All right, hit a land, play a land. Crack a map. Come on, non-land. Ooh, land and land. All right. Now what? Well, let's try to ride Zen the Shiko. There could be a counter here. All right. Wow, that works. Go to combat. Gonna hit you. Get in there, knights. Oh, about it. Ooh, is Nintendo? I mean, it sounds like the Final Fantasy company, Square Enix or whatever. It sounds like they're pretty specific about it, too. I mean, I think we can even see that with the cards. The cards do seem very carefully designed. And the flavor, from what I've heard from all the people who really love Final Fantasy, the flavor seems really good. Ooh, Ninja. Could you do a whole set of Ninja Turtles? I could definitely see Ninja Turtles Secret Lair. Could you actually do an entire set of it? All right, another temporary lockdown. Opponent passes. Well, let's see if we can have a little bit of a turn here. Let's flush out. Discard a land. So what we want to do is Sage of the Skies. Double it up into Imidane's Recruiter. And then Imidane's Recruiter. Train the troops. The recruiters seem very important for having a chance against control. Opponent, 3 steps ahead. Opponent, they have drawn so many cards. How many stock ups have they cast? I feel like they've cast infinite stock ups. Opponent, Roiling Dragonstorm. Gonna draw some cards. Asking for Smash Bros. Is like asking for Fortnite with all the IP tied to it. Smash has even less identity in the game than Fortnite. Ah, another one. Opponent, I swear to God. We might actually be milling them out. This might actually be a mill them out game. Our opponent is just drawing their entire deck. Opponent draws 2 more cards. 21 in their deck. And Lithomantic Barrage to kill one of the sages. Biza the Bounding Spring. Gonna gain some life. Gonna make some fish. Gonna be obnoxious. Plays a land. Ooh, Quintorius. All right, that's good. Quintorius. Oh, we're gonna try to discover. Hopefully, we gotta have something to discover into, right?
Let's dig over here.
Whew. Okay, sort of. A single geological appraiser. Not ideal. Not ideal. Now we definitely have nothing to discover into. Well, let's kill the Biza. Play the land. I mean, this isn't doing anything, so we might as well trample up since we don't have anything to spin into. And hit ya. Found it. Down to 4. Can we close out this game? A reminder that our sponsor today, Card Kingdom, if you need some... No! Oh! So many stock ups. Opponent stocks up again. Well, I imagine this is, kill the Quintorius. And then we drew into a Wrath, so we Wrath your board.
How am I supposed to finish this paper now?
Yeah. As predicted. Well, play that elegant parlor. Mill the land. I guess it's Murex this time. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Chico. Yeah, our opponent. Are they gonna stock up again? Is this another stock up? I swear. I swears to gods. Lightning Helix. Well, let's get rid of the Chico. Opponent. How many Chicos do they have left? 1, 2, 3. They're gone. Okay, so the Chicos are all gone. We have gotten rid of all the Chicos. Opponent, another Biza. Okay. Well, let's exile something. We got a lot of action left in our deck. Stormshake Feral. Well, let's play the Assembler. Play the Stormshriek Feral. Hit you for 3. Oh, opponent. Parting Gust. Okay. Well, hit you. Down to 8. This has been a ridiculous game. If you ever want to learn SWU, I'll send you a pre-con, be glad to teach you. I will let you know, Stone Rain. It sounds like it'd be fun. I don't know if I always have a hard time getting into other TCGs. There's just so much time and so much money, but it would be cool to learn. Meringue River Regent. Found it. Gonna bounce and bounce. Well, we draw Quintorius, which I guess we play. Make a token. Play the Storm Shriek. Oh, we're gonna lose this, aren't we? We're gonna lose this after an hour and a half. Opponent has a get lost. The fun never ends. Map into another useless land. Well, crack the map into another useless land. What's up, Mother Frogger? How are you? Opponent, survey a land. 12 cards in the deck. Looking for a removal spell to win the game. I imagine they hit one off the Roiling Dragonstorm. Discards a land. And Meringue River Regent. All right. Well, we get to do that for another hour. So much unbelievable amount of control today. We've played literally control every round, which, considering this deck is not really built to play against control, we're doing shockingly well, I will say. What do you think the most underrated standard card of all time is? So that's an interesting question. I actually don't know if Rip is worth it. All they do with the graveyard is the 4 Chicos, right? I don't know if it's worth bringing in Rest in Peace just to keep Shiko from flashing stuff back. Although our opponent casting 8 stock ups or whatever definitely did some work for them that game. So the question about most underrated card ever in Standard. So would this be like the card that people thought was bad and that it was actually really good in Standard? Or would this be a card that I'm like, this card really should have been good in Standard, but it was never good in Standard? Because if the question's a latter one, that one would be tough. As far as cards that were really underrated and then became really good, what is the most of that of all time? I mean, Tarmogoyf was really underrated. Oko was a card that people were kind of meh on. Sheoldred, it's probably hard for a card currently in Standard to be the literal most underrated of all time. That's a big ask, right? To be the most underrated in the history of the entire game. I think we need the Stormbroods don't kill what we need to kill, so I think we have to keep the Ride's End. We'll bring in one. Rest in peace. Necro was infamously given a 1-star rating. Okay, maybe Oko. Maybe Oko's not a good example. I feel like Oko was... I don't think that people thought Oko was bad, but from what I remember, when Oko was first spoiled, we didn't even know what a food was, and everyone was kind of like, okay, sure. And then it ended up being the greatest planeswalker, like, in the history of Magic. So I feel like it still did way more than expected, I guess I would say. Necro, I think, was mostly just people being bad at Magic. You gotta remember that our knowledge of the game has increased. Like, if you go back to the 90s, the concept of, like, a mana curve was, like, earth-shattering. Like, the Sly deck blew everyone's mind because that was the first time that someone playing Magic had a concept of a curve, and they weren't just throwing random cards together into their deck, apparently. So you got to remember that that's the context, right? Of something like Necro is just people were way worse at Magic than we were today. It's not their fault. It was just that, like, the game was new and we didn't have 30 years of communal knowledge and the hive mind of, working on it in videos and articles and, 3 decades of Pro Tours. So it's not like anyone was doing anything wrong. It was just, you had a big disadvantage back then. Well, spin it to win it. Geological Appraiser. See if it gets countered. All right. Can we please not hit the enchantment? Because they're going to blow it up. All right. Sage of the Skies. Not bad. Still might just get Wrath, but still, not bad. If they Wrath, we can untap Inquintorius. Ooh. So, I think Primetime... I don't think Primetime was underrated in Standard. I guess that's also true about Dark Ritual. I don't think Primetime was underrated in Standard. I think in Standard, Primetime was very good. And people knew it was good. Yeah, let's just attack first. But definitely in Modern, it took people a long time to figure out the Amulet Titan deck. Same with Lantern Control. Lantern Control was another deck where all the pieces existed for a very long period of time, but no one put them together for a long time. I think the UB that would make me stop Magic would be like an Elon Musk Secret Lair drop. I mean, I don't know if that would make me quit Magic, but real people / celebrity / politician Magic cards would be about the worst thing I could imagine. like that. I don't think they would. Wow, I shouldn't say that. Okay, accepting actors, which we've already seen in like the Doctor Who set, which already comes along with their own kind of risk. I can't imagine they would actually just start making current real life figures into Magic cards. It seems so incredibly risky. To me, it seems way too risky. You already have some of that risk, even with just, well, let's get down Chimmel. You already have some of that risk. Well, Sage of the Sky is actually a pretty good spin. But what happens if you, like, print a card of an actual human being that exists, and that person ends up being, like, an absolute scumbag? There's no taking that away, right? Like, I guess you can ban it, but then you're drawing more attention to it and, like, reminding everyone of your horrid mistake. So I feel like it's just too risky to put real people on Magic cards. Jared from Subway, probably the perfect example. Could you imagine the Subway Secret Lair drop, like, 20 years ago or whenever it was during peak Jared era? And then everything that happened after? Like, that's a really bad thing. Do you really want to be the game that has a Jared from Subway card? Also, chat. Yeah, OJ Simpson, there's so many Diddy. Yeah, there's so many people. Like, there's so many people. Yeah, I mean, you could ban them, like Invoke Prejudice and those other cards, but it's still like, it's still kind of a black eye on the game, right? It still looks really bad. Now let's play Quintorius Con. If you would like to try to counter it, you may. Opponent does not. Well, let's discover with Quintorius Con. Into, all right, another Sage of the Skies. Hit ya. We're gonna gain a bunch of life. Opponent going to get lost through Quintorius. Okay. Now let's go to combat. Go to combat. Hit you for 6. Opponent down to 12. Pass the turn. Do a little discovery. We gotta do it. We've hit every Sage of the Skies. All right, play the Sage of the Skies. No Wrath. No Wrath. One turn, no Wrath. That's all we ask. Opponent, land. Chico. Is there a split up? There's not a split up. Then get a Helix. I mean, I guess they're going to get a stock up. Oh, they're not even going for removal. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my, can we win this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're so close. We can play the Virtue. Make another 2/2. We can Rise Ends. We're very close to taking down yet another control deck. Opponent did not have the Wrath. Opponent goes digging. Oh, this would be the turn to win the game if we could. Opponent. They can't attack, right? There's no way. That'd be ridiculous. Well, all right, play the Virtue. Untap. Oh, Quintorius. Quintorius. Go to combat. Swing with everything. We can get 2 damage with Quintorius. If they try to Lightning Helix one of our Sages, we can Ride's End to fizzle the life gain. Opponent blocks. Still lethal. Still lethal. I think we got it. I think we got it. So Biza blocks the token. Oh, opponent. Biza does not block the token. I mean, I guess they can Helix the token? Wow. I don't know why they didn't block with the Biza, but get rid of it. Kill ya. Yes! What's up, Javier? Good to see ya. Wait, this deck's crushing it. We're just casually crushing it. Like, ridiculous. Ridiculous. There's some instances where it can go okay. Look at Mike Tyson and how beloved Punch-Out is today. In spite of his own controversies, being devil advocate, I largely agree with you. Yeah, that is true. I mean, there are definitely times when it could work out. I just think it adds an unnecessary risk. Plus, I'm also biased because I don't like real world people on Magic cards. Like, at least the examples of it that we've had so far, like seeing actors on the cards in Doctor Who or whatever. I don't really enjoy that. Like, those are some of the cards that I like the least. So maybe I'm just biased against the idea because of that as well. Like, that might be part of it. I'll mail you a couple. Oh, Stone Rain, you know, well, I mean, if you want to mail me a couple boxes, I will crack them open and check them out. You definitely don't have to do that, though. Do you think there is a Dice to Doomblade achievement arena because Watsy listens to the podcast? Well, on one hand, I do know at least some Watsy people listen to the podcast because we've had conversations about it before. On the other hand, Dice to Doomblade has been... that predates us. We didn't come up with Dice to Doomblade. That's been a Magic meme for a long time now. That's an old school Magic meme. So I don't think we can get credit for creating it, but I do know that Watsy people do listen to the podcast, at least some of them on occasion. What's the thing next to? Oh, this is the achievements they added a little bit ago, where if you do certain things, you get some new emote phrases, new titles for your character. I mean, I guess can we play non-aggro, or can we play an aggro deck? I want to see, we know the deck can hold up against control somehow, because we played a ton of control. Can we play an aggro deck? I can't believe I'm asking to play an aggro deck, because usually I'm begging to not play an aggro deck. But can we play an aggro deck just to see if this deck can hold up to aggro at all? Ooh, Jace's Prodigy, definitely one of the cards that I underrated the most in Standard. I infamously absolutely trashed Jace's Prodigy, and then it went on to be one of the best cards in its Standard, like a format defining card. I can't remember if I was the only one that was underrating it, but I definitely underrated it hardcore. Yeah, not mice. So how about something in the middle? Maybe I bit off more than I can chew. Maybe I should be asking for mid range, and we can work our way up to playing the aggro deck. Hey Seth, can you check out my question I asked? Oh, let me see. Is there any chances you would make a Dracogenesis against the odds deck to do well in this format? Ooh, so I mean, we played Dracogenesis as like the first. Oh, it's Domain. Ugh. I actually feel like this is probably, based on what happened last time we played Domain, I feel like this is probably not a good matchup. Because opponent has to read the Autonomous Assembler. Which, I guess, this is like AI. This is the AI Magic card. Taking over the factories. Well, let's get in with the Autonomous Assembler. Get in, hit ya, and you know what? How about this? How about this? +1/+1 counter. Don't kill it. Don't make us look silly, opponent. We spent a mana on this. We spent a whole mana. Okay, opponent, lets the pump happen. You know what? Maybe we are Assembly Worker Tribal. Get it in there. Oh, a new Millennium. That's actually a really good. That is actually a great. Oh, an updated version of the deck. I will definitely keep that in mind. That could be a fun thing to do for the stream. I try to avoid doubling up on the YouTube too much, but we could definitely do a stream version of it. I will add that to the list. Is there anything else? So we were just talking about rotation coming, right? Rotation becoming. Is there anything else that you really want to see that's going to be rotating? And then we'll never have a chance to see it in Standard again. Either something that we've never played before or something that you would like to revisit. So we heard Millennium Calendar. That's a good one. Doubling Season Walkers. Have we? I feel like that's something that we must have done. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe we haven't. Maybe I just thought about doing it, but never actually did it. Oh, Rot Priest. Nahiri's Resolve is a good one. That is a good one. You know, so if we play this Quintorius, it's fine, right? We end with a Sage of the Skies for blocking. All right, Quintorius, discover 4 into, well, we'll get the Sage of the Skies right away. Hit ya. Down to 12. Get in with the Assembler. Ooh, the Battle Deck. The Battle Deck would be a good one, because those are going to be out of here. Aftermath Cigar. I haven't played Angels in so long. Oh, I was looking through. Oh, that's deadly. Yeah, Hazard is deadly. Do we just concede? Is there a point to? I mean, we can kill this our next turn, I guess. Yeah, all right. Donut hit says. Oh, no, this can't hit. Oh, Twin Maw Stormbrood. Oh, we are dead. This can't even kill her. Can't even kill her. Oh, so we're super. Yeah. Yeah, this feels. It's so funny. I feel like Domain's really good, but no one plays it anymore. Shadow Right Priest. Yeah, I came across All Will Be One again recently. I was just looking through old cards. Actually, the same question I just asked you, I was asking myself and just going through the sets that we're going to rotate and looking for fun stuff that we could revisit before it leaves. All Will Be One was one of the cards that stuck out to me, too. Do you think that anything needs to be banned in Standard? Is there one card that would. If it would be banned, would make Standard better, in your opinion? So, yes, I do think that Standard would be better if cards were banned from it. If I had to choose just a single card, if you had to just get rid of one card, no split ups, unfortunately. The sideboard is not. I don't really like this sideboard. I like this deck a lot. I don't really think the sideboard is all that good. So if I was going to ban one card that would improve Standard the most, it is Monstrous Rage, no doubt about it. Corey Steelcutter would be in the conversation, but I think that Monstrous Rage would be the single card that I think would improve Standard the most. I do not expect them to change anything until we get to the ban window. Wizards is really stuck by this, we're only going to ban once a year, and I think they're going to continue to stand by it. So I am not expecting... I don't know, maybe if we see, maybe there's an emergency banning if Monstrous Rage ends up 60, 70% of the meta, Corey Steelcutter ends up, 50, 60% of the meta. If that happens, maybe, but I'm not expecting any changes until we get to the ban window. I have high hopes that when we get to the ban window, they'll be kind of aggressive. I actually talked to some people lots. I was like, you really need to use this. You need to use this ban window. Even if it ends up that the card would have been fine in the end. Because in the conversation I had, they're like, well, okay, what about Sheoldred? What about Sheoldred? Like, last year, Sheoldred was the card that there was a big conversation about. And then we didn't ban it. And then it ended up being, fine, which is true. That is how it played out. My take was, I think you should have still banned it. Because, for one thing, if you did ban it, no one would have known that it would have turned out fine, so everyone would be okay with it. It's not like you couldn't predict what the meta would look like in 6 months or 12 months. So even though it worked out fine, no one could be mad about that because they wouldn't know that it worked out fine. And it just sends the message that we're serious about using this ban window. So I would ban something every time you have your once-a-year ban window. I would ban the card that you think most deserves it, whether you really think it needs to be banned or not. Just to send a message to the community that we are taking this seriously. We are managing these formats. We do care about Standard. Even just for messaging purposes, that's what I would do. I would, if there's like 10 cards that need to be banned, do it. If you don't think anything really needs to be banned, pick the card that most needs to be banned and ban it, just to let people know that we are serious about this. Yeah, we'll keep this. This hand's definitely not great, but we'll try it. On the other hand, I'm still having a lot of fun playing Standard. When it comes down to, I love Magic, and I have so much fun playing Magic, and even in the current meta, I have so much fun playing Magic. I just know, looking at the Standard from 10 years ago, when we were looking at that, I know Magic cannot be this too, right? It can be better. It blows my mind that I feel like a deck being 40% of the meta has started to become normalized in Magic. And that's something I really want to fight against, because historically that is not normal. And it's really funny to me when I see people who are kind of like, oh, 40% of the meta, sure. At least it's not 50% of the meta. Or there was someone who was like, well, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And in Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks would sometimes be 80% of the meta. I was like, my God, why would you play that game? That sounds like the worst thing ever. No wonder you're playing Magic now. But yeah, it's funny to me to see a deck being that high a percentage of the meta just be considered normal, because it really isn't normal. I would say revisit Fateful Handoff or Prototype Link. Ooh, Prototype Link would be fun. Oh, I remember being super hyped for that. Did we ever make it work? I remember being super hyped about, you play it for the cheap cost and then blink it, get the expensive side. I don't remember if we actually ever made it work or not. Lucha Johnny, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Seth, I wanted to ask you a question similar to last one. Would you consider to make one more video of the same deck if it performed well? Maybe some tweaks to new cards. Sometimes you make great decks, but after one video you put up, we never see them again. So, honestly, Gel wow, that's really up to you all. So the reason that I try to avoid playing the same deck again and again is I thought that's what you wanted to watch. Like, I don't mind playing the same deck and tweaking the deck and revisiting the deck, but I've just always tried to keep doing different things because I thought that that's what everyone wanted to watch. And I would fear that if I just post the same deck again, people would be like, oh, I already saw that. What's the point in watching it again? But if that's something that you all are actually interested in, I would be down for that. I would totally be down for some sort of like tweaking deck, revisiting deck type series. So yeah, I guess let me know what you think about that. Is that obviously it wouldn't be, I know, but all the doppelgang decks are at least different to some extent. At least that's my hope. But yeah, let me know. That could be fun. I mean, seriously, I could just play doppelgang decks one a week for the rest of my life and be happy. I do kind of love doppelganging. Well, all right, save us, Quintorius. You're our only hope. Discover 4 into... Okay, Geological Appraiser. Not a bad hit. Spin it to win it, spin it to win it. Down to 20. And... Oh, did I not bring in... Recruiter? I didn't bring in Recruiter, did I? We left our 6-man on the bench and might be punished for it. Well, I do like that we're hitting all these Itali's favors. That's actually kind of great with Quintorius. Can we have another one? Can we have another? All right, there's the Sage. Well played. That was a pretty good little Discover loop there. Well, Quintorius, we're up to 28. Opponent down to 14. Get the Sage of the Skies and pass the turn. So they're going to do another Against the Odds with a blue copy spell from Final Fantasy. I think a copy Panharmonicon deck would be cool. I'm sure we will play that card. I love making token copies of things, and that is a really cool way to do it. We have Doubling Season in Standard, which works really well with that. Come on now. You dirty domainer. And a Leyline Binding that our deck does not believe in being able to answer. And the Overlord, Uden Pens, coming soon. Well, spin it to win it, Geological Appraiser into a Sage of the Skies. Well, we get 2 copies. Play the land, pass the turn. I don't even... What is the name of that card? It's... Yeah, this... We have finally met our match. The deck's been doing really well, but Domain feels like an absolutely brutal matchup. Found it. Hedge Maze. Oh, we can't kill this stuff. We just don't have the cards to kill this stuff, which is kind of a big issue. Kind of a big problem. Well, get in. Opponent gonna soak up some damage. Drops to 15. Play the Vert. Untap the Dorks. Maybe the Virtue can somehow carry. They can turn on the Leyline Binding, but then if it dies, we get back Quintorius. Speaking of Doppelgang, I tried to make a deck with the old frame of Burning/Cunning Wish. I tried to make a deck in the old frame of the Burning Cunning Wake decks. They use this Doppelgang as a big payoff. I won on the back of X2 choosing Wake and opponent's creatures. Ooh, that sounds sweet. I mean, the card is just 2 and 2 blue, sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target, I believe it's artifact, creature, or land. It's in the final. It's an uncommon from the Final Fantasy. I mean, I can find it. It's a card I'm very high on for Commander, actually. But it also seems fun. In Standard. It is called Realms Sketching. 4-mana sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact, creature, or land. I think they left enchantment off of it. Specifically, specifically to not let you loop with. Oh boy, life keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. A negate 2? Well, alright, get in there. Bound it blocks. It's okay, baby. We're good, bud. Ah! Wow. See, our opponent has a good sideboard. Our opponent actually has a real sideboard. We do not. Ooh, the white. Wait, the white crystal gas. All right, I have not seen this card. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that was a absolutely brutal turn for us. The negate into the Heritage Reclamation. That was bad news. All right, go, Feral Storm Shrieker. Hooray. Let me see if I can find this card. Oh, they spoiled all the crystals. All right, let's finish this game real quick. Let's finish this game and then we'll look at the crystals and the other spoilers. Because there's actually a few spoilers now. We're gonna stay on defense. We gotta try to trade with stuff. Until we lost that. Until we lost that virtue, I feel like we kind of had a chance, but losing that virtue's so bad. Yeah, we lose our stuff. Opponent goes to 29. Well, let's pass the turn. We can Rise End the Zur, but I imagine they have another one in hand. Leyline Binding. Ugh. All right. Life's getting worse. Life's getting worse. Yeah. All right. All right. Spoiler time. Well, we finally lost a game. The domain matchup feels legitimately horrible. All right. Let's see these spoilers. Here's the new spoilers. We get To the Crystal Tower is cryptic command, part of the Final Fantasy Through the Ages sheet. Looking pretty good. Chromatic Lantern is Crystal of Altered Cave, sure. Wild Rose Rebellion is Counterspell. Huh. What do you think of that art? I feel like this Counterspell art, it looks pretty. It doesn't look very blue though. I feel like it, I don't know. It doesn't look like a counterspell to me. Like, the art's fine for being whatever Final Fantasy art. One thing I learned, there was, oh boy, I learned, let me see if I can find this card. One thing I learned is, you cannot speak bad of a mono. There was one card. What was the card? I said in a spoiler video. Where is it? Oh, this, I think it was the Winota. I think it was this Winota. And I was like, this Winota, Winota's a good card, but to me this art, it kind of feels incomplete, like a sketch that never got finished or something, but I don't know, let me know what you think. Oh my god. Oh boy, some people got so incredibly mad. Yeah, apparently, I don't even know who Amano is, but apparently Amano's, you can't say anything about Amano's art or else people are coming at you. Wild Rose Rebellion. It looks a little sketchy. A little sketchy. Ooh, all right. The Wind Crystal. 4 mana. Legendary artifact. Your white spells cost 1 less to cast. If you would gain life, gain twice as much life instead. 6 and tap, creatures you control gain flying and lifelink until end of turn. I mean, that seems like a pretty sweet commander card. So if you gain life, you gain twice as much life. We've seen that effect in the past. Creatures gaining flying and lifelink for 6, that seems like it just is gonna, I mean, you do need to have a board. You do need to have a board. But if you build up a board, that is just gonna close out games. Isn't that kind of ridiculous? Okay. I mean, so I don't know about standard. Good in Soul Sisters. It might be good in Soul Sisters. And we've seen some Soul Sister decks in standard that are like kinda Soul Sistery. I feel like that last mode, the 6 to give flying and lifelink, in standard, you can't activate that very often. You're going to need to set up like a lethal attack, and that's going to have to close out the game. In Commander, I feel like you can play this in any life gain deck, or even big creature decks. I don't know. I like the Wind Crystal. I like it. I think it's more Commander-y than Standard-y. But yes, I like that card. The Earth Crystal. So our green crystal. 4 mana, of course. Green spells cost 1 less to cast. If you would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, put twice that many counters on it instead, pay 4, tap it, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures that you control. Those will be doubled thanks to its first ability. So the Earth Crystal, I mean, so it's the counters part of Doubling Season, restricted specifically to +1/+1 counters. And then it taps to put 4 counters on things for 6 mana. Instant speed is nice. I feel like, so if you're a +1/+1 counter deck, it's like an absurd card. If you're doing like Doubling Season shenanigans in a commander deck, it's really, really good. In standard, we have Innkeeper's Talent. We have the Golgari Siege. We have a lot of pieces for a +1/+1 counter deck. We have the Ozolus still in standard, which gives 1 additional counter. Maybe. I think there are a lot of cool pieces for a +1/+1 counter deck. It scares me that we haven't seen those pieces come together to make for a functional deck yet in standard. I've tried a few times. I think you can build like a +1/+1 counter aggro deck. I don't know. I mean, I think the real payoff here is the Doubling Season counter mode. That is the exciting part of this card. A Red Crystal. Fire Crystal. 4 mana. Red spells cost 1 less to cast. Creatures you control have haste. Creatures you control have haste is actually, that's an ability I look for fairly regularly. I don't know. Do we have in standard right now? Creatures you control have haste. In standard right now. Oh, I didn't look for standard. I believe we have, so I know we have the Siege, the Izzet Siege. I think that's the only, okay, I guess we have Nihiri's Resolve, which does also do that. I always forget about Nihiri's Resolve. So just giving everything haste can definitely have uses. That is a powerful ability. Frostcliff Siege is cheaper, but it's also in 2 colors. Nihiri's Resolve more expensive, but it has a blink upside. So I think just giving haste has uses. Yeah, it depends on the deck. Like Imodane's Recruiter, we do have 1-shot haste like that. Even like Sirach can give 1 thing haste, but just giving everything haste. And then pay 4, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. So I feel like the way these cards are set up, or the way this card's set up, is you play it as, man, this seems like an insane commander card. This actually seems, in commander decks, and I feel like I'm saying that a lot about these cards, but I guess it's hard for me to not see the Crystal Cycle as commander cards, because the like cost reduction is so commandery, calling back to the medallions. I feel like this is actually a pretty good commander card. In commander, the medallions are already good. And I play very often in red decks, like fervor effects, which 3 mana enchantment gives everything haste. There's one from the Lord of the Rings set that does the same thing, except if you got a legend. There's the Gruul one that gives riot. There's Fires of Yavimaya. I play those cards quite a bit in commander decks. I think this might be the best version of it, especially in a heavily red deck. But like, you get the ramp, you get the haste, and then if you got nothing better to do, you can make a token copy of something, which is a powerful effect, but you're just not going to activate it super often because it's 6 mana. So I think this might actually be close to a commander staple for me. The combination of Wrath, the ramp, and the haste, those are just two things that I want in a lot of commander decks. And then the last mode, it's going to be really fun when I do it. You get some extra shenanigans with doubling season or whatever, like token shenanigans like that. I like Fire Crystal actually quite a bit. In Standard, I do occasionally need Mass Haste in decks. It is 4 mana, which is kind of a lot, and 6 to copy something is definitely a lot in Standard, but I could see uses for it in a deck that really needs haste. Like, imagine hasting in, like, the Overlords or whatever. Or, like, the other place that haste matters, we were talking about the, excuse me, the Mass Reanimation. The Mass Reanimation deck that we're not gonna get to today, but the Malia Raise the Past deck, like, the ability to reanimate everything with Raise the Past and immediately swing, that makes it pretty game ending. You wouldn't play in this deck exactly because the colors are wrong, but that style of deck where you can get everything back from the graveyard. So I think the card definitely has uses. There is no I believe they said, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, I believe they said no alchemy for Universes Beyond sets, period. So no alchemy sets for Final Fantasy or any alchemy set. I imagine they just don't want to pay the money. They don't want to pay the money for Arena already makes them way less money than paper, and then alchemy is not one of the most popular formats, so I think we actually have less to worry about. The Water Crystal, 4 mana, legendary artifact, blue spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill that many plus 4 instead. Okay, I was expecting to double it up, but okay, that many plus 4 instead. 6 mana, each opponent mills cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. Ooh, that's better than your opponent's hand because you can control that. You can have a handful of cards, plus you get plus 4. I think mill might be legit. I think we might have legit mill in Standard. If you look at the pieces, I think we might have a mill deck. If we go to Standard and look for mill, we have actually go to Future Standard. So we have the Adventureland, which is really Actually, maybe I should just go to blue. I think all the cards I want to talk about are blue anyway. But in Standard, so we have Jace, which is a really good mill spell. We have Riverchurn Monument, which is a good mill finisher. We got the creatures that I'm kind of not super sold on. Mindskinner, Teresian Mindbreaker. Wait, where's the Final Fan? Oh, they didn't include the Final Fantasy stuff. Okay. And then in Final Fantasy, it seems like Wizards is actually pushing mill as an archetype. Because if we go to Final Fan, wait, that's the only one? Okay, well, we get the Adventureland in Final Fantasy, and then we get the new card that's not on Scryfall yet. All of your mill being plus 4 is kind of huge. There's actually also Glacierwood Siege. I may or may not have a Glacierwood Siege deck that I've been working on. And having that mill 8 every time you mill instead of 4 is kind of busted. I really like that card. Krim is also gonna like the card. Yeah, Jace does rotate this summer, so we'd have to take advantage of it in the near future. But I mean, this one, it's narrow, right? Like, if you're not a mill deck, this card does nothing for you. In a mill deck, though, I actually think it's kind of good. That last mill, it's probably mill like 7 or something. Actually, more than that, mill 10. That actually seems fine. We also got an uncommon, Gaussius Van Belsar. A 4-mana 3/2 when it enters, you get to choose one. It's a human soldier. Each player sacks a creature token of their choice. Each player sacks a non-token creature of their choice. Each player sacks an enchantment of their choice. Wizards and giving enchantment removal to black. I swear to God, Watsy. I know this ship has sailed. I know this horse is super dead. I know I'm the old man yelling at the clouds. But why? Why black enchantment removal? The card seems great. Good if you can blink it a bunch. It's almost like a Shieldred's Edict on a body. So we've seen in the past 4 mana Edict creatures that make everyone's a set, or 3 mana Edict creatures like Flashbreak Marauder be very good in the kind of distant past. But we've seen them see play before. This is 1 more mana, but you get the upside of hitting enchantments and choosing token or non-token, so it's a better form of Edict. It might be a little bit too expensive, maybe, perhaps. Saga creatures. I mean, couldn't you kill a Saga creature by choosing sack a creature? Hey, see, Mother Frogger. But I mean, that seems fine. Gaia Van Balesar. See, the best power of Universes Beyond, at least a large chunk of it, is actually just being able to mispronounce things that other people really care about. That's why I wake up in the morning, so I can mispronounce the name of your favorite game characters. But it actually is an upside. We also get a new flip creature, Joshua, Phoenix's Dominant. What is this dominant thing? There's so many. There was another one. There was Shiva's Dominant. What does that mean in Final Fantasy? What is a dominant? Does that mean they're like the Phoenix controls it? It's controlling the Phoenix. I'm curious what the lore is. Dominants are people who they turn into their summons. That makes a lot of sense with the flip cards. That actually makes a lot of sense. So Joshua Phoenix's Dominance, 3 mana, Boros, legendary human wizard noble. It's a 3/4, so it's got pretty good stats. When it enters, discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. So that is Tursa Lightbringer's ability. So you don't get the haste like Tursa, but I mean, that's a fine effect. 3 mana for a 3/4. Those are really good stats, especially for Boros, and double looting. That by itself already a fine card. Then you can pay 5, tap, exile it, flip it into Phoenix, Warden of Fire, a 4/4 flying lifelinker. First 2 lore counters, 2 damage to each opponent. You're also going to gain life since it has lifelink. And then last lore counter, return any number of target creature cards with total mana value of 6 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then exile it, return it. Wow. Oh, wait, is this card not really good? Is this card not just actually like, I know a lot of times I'm like, oh, that seems like a good commander card. That could probably be good in commander. Is this just not actually like a really good standard card? This standard Flage, you got to go through more hoops, but I mean, obviously you don't have the recursion from the graveyard, but yeah, if it works, it is kind of like standard Flage. This card, yeah, I'm very interested in this one. I think this might actually, gut reaction, might actually be one of the best standard cards that we've seen from the set. On the list of best standard cards, the front side's good. Its stats are good. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that a 3 mana 3/4, well, maybe that was like 50. I keep forgetting how much time has gone by. Anybody remember Rock's Warmonk? And when like a 3 mana 3/4 was actually kind of like big, like, oh my God, that's a beefy creature. I guess we don't live in that era anymore, but still a 3/4 for 3 is not bad. Its enters ability is really good. And then the backside's great. Like you get 4 damage, direct damage, you gain 4 life, and then reanimate probably the stuff you discarded earlier. I wonder, Jeskai Oculus, maybe? You can play it in Oculus, discard the Oculus, reanimate the Oculus. I think that card's very good. I think that card's actually legitimately very good, and we'll see a lot of play. I think it'll see a lot of play in Standard. What are the best Standard cards from the set before we have them on the site now. The art of the crystals is pretty sweet. I do like the showcase crystals. So what are you hyped about for Standard in specific? Yeah, and then it does loot again when it flips back around. So I feel like Joshua is going to be a good Standard card. I feel like I would love Cloud to be a good stand. I would love there to be an equipment deck. I'm still not convinced that there will be, but I would love that. Sephiroth, I think, is a very good Standard card. Lightning, potentially could be a good standard card. Sephiroth, I'm very high on. Summon Knights of the Round, I'm very high on, especially, it's got to be reanimated or cheated into play somehow, but I think it's a very good card. Tifa, yeah, I'm definitely building a Tifa deck. Tifa's on my short list. Cecil, I always forget about Cecil because it's just existed so long. It was one of the very early spoilers. But I remember when I first saw this, I was like, oh my god, this Final Fantasy set's going to be so strong. But yeah, I mean, 1 mana, 2/3 Death Touch. It eventually flips around into a big lifelinker. Cecil, I think, is very good. Yuna's cool. Yuna is cool. It probably, yeah, would have to build a Yuna, summon Bahamut, summon Knights of the Round deck. I feel like Astrologian's Planisphere might actually be very good. The Adventurelands, there's actually, I mean, as we go through this, yes, I would say this is definitely a commander set, but the more we're talking through these cards, there is a decent chunk of cards that I'm hyped for standard. There still is Area Soul Sisters, Jumbo Cactar, standard staple. But no, probably good against the odds card. I mean, 10,000 damage. You got to be able to do something with that. I think they just use commander cards first to sell pre-orders. Maybe. I don't know. And probably part of the reason it seems so... I think that might be true. I think part of the reason it feels so commandery too is just there's so many legends. And my magic brain, when I see a legendary creature, at this point, I just assume, oh, it's for commander. But I think in this case, that's not necessarily the case. Like, yes, it does allow them to be commanders. Yes, some of them are designed for commander, but also a lot of them just got to be legends because they're iconic Final Fantasy characters. Cecil makes you lose life, so it's possible to lose a game after having your opponent pump it. Oh, they'll reverse Monstrous Rage, eh? Monstrous Rage your opponent's creatures and get them. I think Red, I would love for there to be an equipment deck. Honestly, maybe what I would like most to come from this set would be an actual like competitive style equipment deck. I'm just skeptical. I've been hurt too many times, chat. We've gotten cool equipment payoffs for so many years, and we have like swords in standard, and it just never. I feel like equipment was just left behind by Modern Magic. Like the idea that you have to play a card and then pay more mana to equip it to a creature is just like, it's just so slow for what Magic is like in 2025, which is why we see more and more equipment that equip when they enter the battlefield or create a creature to put themselves on. That's been Wizards' attempt to make equipment relevant in the kind of like faster, power creepier era of Magic that we're living through. And I think it's worked to some extent. Obviously, when it goes too far, you end up with Corey Steelcutter. But I think it's worked to some extent. So I think there could be an equipment deck, especially taking advantage of the new equipment that make creatures, like the job select equipment to go along with Formurden, stuff like that. Do you think that Shadowsphere scared WotC from making good equipment? No, I think that Cawblade. I think that Cawblade is what killed equipment. I think it was. If you go back, oh god, 15 years ago now. 15 years ago. Oh, new equipment not on the site. Oh, thank you, dog. If you go back 15 years ago, oh, it's actually a mythic equipment. All right, let's take a look at this card. A tier and Puin. A tier and Purewin. All right, I don't know what that means. 6 mana, 5 to 6 to cost and 5 to equip. Okay, off to an inauspicious start for a standard card, but yeah, 6 to cast, 5 to equip. A casual 11 mana, legendary equipment. Equipped creature has base power and toughness of XX, where X is your life total. Well, I mean, that is a commander card if I've ever seen one. It is hilarious. Could be a good. Oh boy. I was going to say a good against the odds card, where you just try to gain a bunch of life in one shot. It is just so much. I feel like this should have had job select. Would that be too busted? Would that be too busted if it came along with a 1/1? It's just so much, man. 5 to equip. The six to cast. I feel like they made this very, hey, what's up, Doug? Dan Wildfire for the 78th month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big subscription for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Huh. So 6 to cast, 5 to equip. I mean, the creature is going to get really huge. When things go well, and your life total is high, or you're a life gain deck, and you actually can find the 11 mana to get this on a creature, you're going to make a beefy creature. And then you have the upside that you can move it over. At the same time, I could also imagine worlds where you spend 6 to cast it and 5 to equip it, and then your opponent plays a Braid that they got to deal with Corey Steelcutter, and you were the saddest Magic player of all time. I don't know. What about a Commander? So I mean, obviously not a competitive standard card. Maybe a good in Soul Sisters against the odds standard card, but not a card that I expect people to play competitively in standard. Where would we play this in Commander? In life gain decks? Would you play it in an equipment deck? Also, like, the other reason this feels Commander focused is the life total thing is way better in Commander, where you have 40 life instead of 20 life in Standard. By the time you get this down in Standard, you're probably at like 5 life or something, 3 life, and you're just doing all that work to give +3/+3. So free equipping. That's what I was gonna say. I feel like they built this very carefully to avoid cheating into play. So you kind of need both pieces, right? Like, so Sigarda's Aid can let you free equip, or a Pure Steel Paladin, but you still need to pay 6 to get on the battlefield. Stoneforge can help you cheat on the battlefield, but then you still have to pay 5 to equip it. So I think you really need both pieces, I think, for it to, I mean, I guess in Commander, just the free equip helps a ton. Like, casting this for 6 and equipping it right away with Sigarda's Aid, in Commander, I think that's fine. Seems tough to do in like Modern or something, or even Pioneer. That's just a big ask. In theory, you can play Disciple of Gix to tutor this, shuffle into the graveyard, and then Abuela's Awakening, you bring it back. Shuffle reanimates. Wait, Disciple of Snuffler? What is Snuffler? I'm so confused. Snuffler? Magic Snuffler. 5 mana. I feel like I've never seen this card before. 5 mana 4/4 from MKM. So Murders of Karlov Manor. 5 mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, return target equipment card from graveyard to the battlefield attached to Magnetic Shuffler. When you sack an artifact, so that could be a sweet, like, against the odds way to build it. Actually, that actually seems like a realistic way to build it. Are there other free equip? Are there any other free equipped effects in Standard? Oh, that search is not gonna help. That's just gonna be every equipment. When a equipped creature you control other than Ruck attacks or dies. Huh. We need more free equipping. The other thing to keep in mind with these cards is they're legal in Standard for so long that it doesn't seem impossible to me that by the time this rotates, maybe we get literal Sigarda's Aid back in Standard. Like, all bets are off because there's so many sets coming into Standard and so much time with the cards legal in Standard that it seems realistic to me that we could get a free equip thing in 6 months or a year or 2 years from now, and suddenly we're like, oh, this looks way different. That's way more exciting. I mean, definitely a cool card. That is a cool card. A lot of mana to get it going, but it can be maybe the biggest power buff that an equipment offers. Like, there's, wow, a ton more Final Fantasy Through the Ages. But yeah, that seems pretty sweet. Just so much mana to get going. But if you get it going, you get a beefy boy. Danitha. Oh yeah, Danitha. Danitha is probably better than Snuffler. Because Danitha has lifelink, right? Danitha Benalia's Hope. So this is rotating, but for the next few months we could try it. 5-mana 4/4. First strike, vigilance, lifelink. The lifelink's really nice too, because that's gonna help keep the life total high for the equipment. Then you just attach it to it. Well, if you could haste it up, that's what we really need. That's what we really need is like Danitha plus a way to give our stuff haste, and then you just Danitha reanimate it, swing in, win the game all in a spot. It seems like a really fun brew around. It seems like a cool brew around. I like the card, actually. I like the card quite a bit. I don't think it's going to be a competitive, like, top-tier card, but it does seem like we can build a cool card, cool deck around it. I hate that Fatal Push has such a similar name to an existing card for its flavor name. Yeah, that is kind of awkward. Storm Herald. Ooh, Storm Herald would be a sweet one. Yeah, Joshua I think is the best standard card of the day for sure. Joshua's very good. That card's going to be very, very good. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by Furion. Furion is also only 3 mana. And getting a copy of each equipment, I don't know. I definitely want to build a deck around it. I have no idea how good it's going to be, but definitely a very interesting effect. My first thought was to use Furion with like for Mirrodin stuff or job select stuff, so you're getting like the creatures out of it, essentially turning its ability into a way to generate creatures. But you could use it with other equipment too. Can you try the Cleric Lord before it rotates? Ooh, Shadowborn something. I will try Stone Rain. I will try. No promises because I might forget, but I will do my best. New spoiler video getting posted on the Goldfish later today. It'll either be later today or early tomorrow. But yeah, the spoilers keep rolling, and we have a lot more cards to talk about. On that note, everyone, what do we learn today? So we got to see some spoilers. I think the most shocking thing we learned in the stream is this Boros Discover deck. It looks weird. It looks janky, but the deck can actually really grind. And we had a pretty good record with it. We finally lost our last match to Domain, but I believe we were 4-1 overall with the deck, or 5-1 overall with the deck. So the deck, we played a ton of control today. Weird matchups where every match was a control match, but the deck actually held up really well. So, and Sage of the Skies actually felt pretty legit. It seems silly to do all this work to discover into Sage of the Skies, but those double 2/3 lifelinking flying bodies were actually enough to win a lot of games. So the deck was actually super sweet, and Quintorius is super fun. So anyway, reminders. Ooh, let me see. I want to break Furion. Let me see halfling. Furion ring combo. So wait, what's the Lotus ring? Oh, that's spicy. So get the Lotus Ring at a discount. Move it around to sackable creatures. Make a ton of mana and then Season Aloths for the win. That's super spicy, halfling. That's a super cool idea. Anyway, everyone, that brings us to the end for today. Reminders on the way out the door. Replay YouTube for all your old streams. Normal YouTube. Spoilers, gameplay, tons of stuff coming up on there. And one more reminder that our sponsor day is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtdgoldfish. Even get a free goldfish sticker, just let them know you want one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. Most importantly, thank you to all of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome and spectacular. And I love you all so very much. I hope you have an amazing day. Have a great afternoon. Have a great week. We'll be back next week for another one. Until then, everyone, be good, and I will talk to you soon.